Babe.
Hey, Matt, congratulations on your success, brother. And I really appreciate you giving, both sides, and just free speech the opportunity to have a platform, dude.
Got it. You got it. Thanks for everything you've done for this country, Eli. We'll talk next time. Tell Jen hello, and I'll have this ready in a couple of hours, and you can share it and take a look. Thank you, man.
Thanks, brother.
All right. Bye-bye.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, Olivia, and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
What is going on, Don't Unfriend Me Nation? Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me Show. Matthew Spear from the Don't Unfriend Me podcast. To my whatever. Is Olivia? Raise your hand. Hi, Liv.
Hello.
No, yes, your light is too bright in the background. It only took me like 5 minutes and 3 commercials to finally have enough time to be able to do it. So let me fix it. This is the great thing. Everyone want to see something cool? Watch this.
Whoa.
That's
awesome.
Look at that. Just, dude, I'll tell you what, we spared.
You have Alexa do that?
I could, but I think she's fascist, and I don't want. I already have enough listening devices in my house.
I get it.
So I just do it all by a touch of a button. It's all programmed. Like all my lights are. I've got like 15 lights that are all programmed, so I can turn it into a Christmas decor. I can do it into like a Havana tropical sunset where they all flutter. It's great. The Samsung lights, they are ridiculously expensive, but very, very cool. So welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me Show. Down below here is Amy. Amy, welcome.
Hey, everybody. Good to see you.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. And then we have Leroy. Leroy, good to have Leroy here. Leroy, how's life?
Hey, girl. Yeah, everything's good. Everything is well right now. We got a lot going on in the world in terms of military movements at the moment.
Yep.
A lot of stuff in the news in terms of politics, though, too. So yeah, hot times.
There's a bunch to do tonight for sure, and we will have a good night. Welcome to the new start time, 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock, 5 days a week. We're going to be here 5 days a week. I've looked at it this way. When I narrowed the schedule down, I was like, what's up, Liv?
I don't think Rumble's working.
Not again. You know what? Rumble has this
Rumble
default setting I already know what it is. Don't worry about it. I'll have it up in 2 seconds.
Okay.
I already know what it is.
Got it.
It's not like I haven't done this before. So when I started this shindig, I had a full-time job, and I just was like, okay, well, I've only got so many hours to put towards this, and put towards. Ooh, no, Rumble's working.
I can't
Should
get
be.
it.
I think you gave me a.
Well, one of our other regulars from Rumble is on Facebook and says they can't get it either.
All right, well, hold on. It's got to be Uncle Stumpy. He's been having a bad day.
No,
We're on Rumble. Ha. I win.
Judy.
Tell Judy I'm on Rumble. So tell her to close her windows, refresh, pee on her computer. I don't know, something.
I'm trying.
If not, come watch it over on Spreely TV. All right, so we're starting at 7 o'clock. And the reason why is because when I first started this shindig, like I said, I had a full-time job, and I was popping 65, 70 hours a week doing this. Not this, but doing that job. And then I was putting in at least a good 30 to 40 doing this. I mean, it was a lot. I think everyone remembers I would come home some days and I would still be in my work attire because it was just freaking nuts. I mean, you can't run a multi-million-dollar business and this, but somehow we made it happen. And I realized that I decreased the shows live to 3 days a week because I was doing recorded shows. And I was like, you know what? Forget that. We've got to grow the live show. And the only way we're going to do that is add it from 7 to 9. This is our, who needs to talk? Liv?
I'm not.
Oh, I thought somebody was saying something. So
Well, I was
7 to 9.
looking at. Oh, sorry. I was looking at. I'm trying to find it on Rumble. I'm not seeing
Rumble
it on
works.
the DUM.
I'm on Rumble. I just saw it. You guys, I want to try to get through this segment. Come on,
God.
I know.
They have they've got 7 other channels they can go to. I don't know what to tell you. It's on. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay.
But constantly interrupting is not really appropriate. So I'm just trying to get this done, guys, and I'm trying to get this spot done so we can get with the show. I've already fixed it, and this is something that we continue to do is fix things that aren't broken. So there's nothing wrong with it. I don't know what you want me to do. Okay. So do we want to stop the show and just come back tomorrow?
No.
Okay. You sure?
Yeah.
Anybody? No? I don't know what to do, guys. It's working. And every time on Rumble, we get this. And then everyone goes, it doesn't work. I just pulled it up. It's working fine.
Okay.
Leroy, is it working for you?
Everything's picture perfect here, man. Everything's
no,
perfect.
no, but go to Rumble and take a look. Is it working for you? Can you do that for me?
Yeah.
I mean, if we're going to stop the show again and just troubleshoot in the middle, we might as well just do it. Just like try it again. And everyone do me a favor. Log out of your window and restart and see if that works. And if it doesn't work this time, I will eat crow and I'll apologize. Okay? Like I will stand on my head and say I'm sorry. Log out of your window.
Nope, show's live.
I'll figure it out.
No, we're gonna stay. We've already interrupted the show 3 times. We're gonna stay here, and we're gonna do this because this is what we do, and I'm fine with it. It's just, I'm telling you, it's working.
Yeah,
pulled up
it's working.
So just reset. Not upset at anybody. I mean, we shouldn't interrupt the show for this. We should just, it's not like, in my opinion, it's not more important than the show itself to interrupt it if something's not working. What we can do is play a video or you can make a sign that we wait until we go to a segment or Leroy or Amy start talking. And then, so we don't have to interrupt the flow. That's all it is. And it just makes an awkward experience for the listener. So like, I'm all about streamlining this mother humper. I've been doing this for 3 years. I know when I do it right and wrong. And I know it's not my fault with Rumble. It's right. Check it. Liv?
I'm still not getting anything. I've closed
Did you
out.
close out of Rumble? Because Leroy's got it, Alexander's got it, Angel's got it, everybody's got
I've
it.
closed out like 6 times and reopened, and I don't know what's going on. There, it just loaded. Seriously, it just loaded. But I went to everything.
I'm not upset.
I'm just know.
Listen. I'm matter of fact, right? Like we shouldn't. Okay, here's my thoughts. And let's all. You know what? We don't have team meeting. Everyone, come on in for a team meeting. Here it is. We shouldn't interrupt each other. We shouldn't interrupt each other. Like if there's something going on, just stop. Just wait. Just like hold so we can get these things, like get the show rolling, because you lose people that way. They come on and they go, oh my God, these guys are a shit show. They don't know what they're doing. So let's just hold next time. Wait. If there's a snafu or something's not working, you know me, I'll get it fixed. But I know for a fact that Rumble was working. because I tested it and it was working just fine. Okay. Is anyone else having a problem with Rumble? And it's nice to see all these people on Rumble. I'm stoked to have you.
I
Anybody
think
else?
it just took a while to load because everyone's saying it's working now. They had to log in several times. I don't know what happened.
Well,
Every
it's
once in a while it does it.
technology. Sometimes it doesn't work. And, it's kind of like when I don't take the little blue pill. It doesn't work either. And, we got to coax that sucker like the little engine that could. All right. Like, Leroy's like, all right. Either way, I listen, if that came across as harsh, I interrupt. If it's that, but it's not a big problem, right? It's just a simple little thing that we can fix. And it's usually some stupid setting.
And we're on channel 1 on Spreely tonight. Not 10.
We're on channel 1 forever now. We've been moved to the prime station, the prime time slot on. This is so funny because we were going to talk about that. Like I was getting to all of that. So let's restart. Okay. Here we go. Let's just here we go.
Right?
Hi everybody. Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. Holy shit. This is amazing. So bugger me. Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. That's Olivia. That's Amy. That's Leroy. Everyone's on Rumble. It's all working. Any other problems in the house tonight? No? Good. Great. Let's go to the topic. We're moving to 7 to 9, if you didn't know. And the reason why we're moving to 7 to 9 is because, well, it's a lot. And number one. But number two, across all of our social media, our sweet spot where we have the most users by far, over 63% of our interactions are done between the hours of 7 and 8:30 every night. So, you know what? We're moving it from 7 to 9. And I finally got I got a year-over-year analytics. I was waiting to get it from all channels. And every channel, Rumble, YouTube, Twitter, doesn't matter. 7 to 9:30 or 8:30 is our sweet spot. So that's what we're going to do, number one. And number two is Spreely is nice enough to move us to their primetime slot, which this is primetime for them. This is 7 o'clock. It's their number one channel. It's on Spreely 1, and the show will be on Spreely 1 from now on, unless it's not working, and then we can interrupt each other, and we'll be fine. Sound good? Great.
Yes.
Any questions about that?
No.
Awesome. Gosh, this is so exciting. Is Rumble working?
Yes, Rebel's working.
Outstanding. All right. So here's what we're talking about tonight. Amy, you're bringing in a topic. What topic are you bringing?
Sean Strickland. I was going to talk about his recent news media thing that's happening with him and his commentary in the Canadian media and all that fun stuff. I'm even wearing my Affliction t-shirt tonight.
It's
Not a dumb shirt.
It's Amy. Amy, I'm not mad at you.
That's the first time I've ever not worn a dumb shirt. I was like, oh, wear a funny, like, look, I've had this for 20 years. And
Wait,
just
what'd you
happy
say?
it fits me.
So can I say something to interrupt? If your if your sound is too low, it's you. It's not us. So it's time to go buy a new phone. Time to watch it on Spreely TV. Time to watch it on Apple TV. Time to watch it on an iPad. Here's what we're gonna do. I've got to get to a spot where either A, I've got to turn the comments off and we don't interact anymore, or you guys just need to figure it out. Like it just keeps interrupting the show. So, and I can't stop, like, because I care about you and I care about your experience. I really do. It means we spend all this money to make it perfect for you. And if nobody else is having an audio problem, it's you. And you've got to get out and come back in. You got to get a new phone. Hook it up to a quadraphonic Blaupunk, or go to your car and, I don't know, maybe increase the amperage. I don't know what to do. But I don't think anyone else is having a problem. Is anyone else having a problem with the sound?
Doesn't it?
Okay, then
Yeah.
Hearing aids, crank those suckers up. I can crank up the sound a little bit if you'd like me to, if the mics are coming in too low. Amy, how is it on you?
It sounds great to me. Me,
Okay.
Amy, or other Amy. Everyone else in the comment section saying it all sounds good. So
Okay, great. Then we're going to go ahead and go with a show. So you're doing, what's his name? What, Strickland?
Sean Strickland.
Is that the lead singer of Nickelback?
He is an MMA fighter.
Oh,
So I
I'm
think
sorry,
he's just
sir. I
recently
apologize.
become famous. I don't really, yeah.
Please don't kill me, sir. I didn't mean to joke about Nickelback. Yeah, I know who he is. He's an MMA fighter. I was going to say Rod Strickland from Jerry Maguire, but that would have tied into my my video from yesterday. Liv, you did you have a topic tonight? I don't think you did. All right. Well, you're just looking good, and you can chime in on the other ones because all of these topics are fantastic. Leroy, what are you talking about?
I was going to talk about the current state of the election, especially with Ron DeSantis dropping out, and kind of give
Who called
a
that?
breakdown.
Ooh.
Kind of give a breakdown of what we should expect to see both on social media and in primetime media in terms of headlines.
Awesome. I suspected Vivek would have stayed in because I mean I think at first we said he was going to drop out after Iowa, but then he said he was like, I'm staying in for the long haul. I'm like, okay, well, you and I both said, well, he's going to stay in, but I think that was our initial reaction to see DeSantis drop out before New Hampshire. If he would have gotten third, I would have thought that, but the fact that he got second, but there's a whole bunch in there. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about something else. I'm going to lean into Nikki Haley a little bit, and I'm going to show you how to be impartial. I'm going to teach you how not to be biased, because as a lot of you know, I believe, not that I particularly like Nikki Haley, because it's not that I like Nikki Haley. It's that I know what votes she's going to bring to Donald Trump that no other candidate can bring him. That's why I see Nikki Haley. But she annoys the shit out of me sometimes. But I'm going to show you, I'm going to defend her with everything, as much vigor as I can, and I will take anyone on over this. But I'm also going to slam her real hard because she's saying some stupid stuff. This is how you are not loyal to a candidate. And I'm not. And I'm loyal to the viewer. And I want you guys to hear it. I'm not very happy with Tim Pool. I'm not very happy with Benny Johnson. And I'm going to call them both out. And you know what? At this point, I got to look at it this way. You two have been making money hand over fist, selling bullshit for too long. So Tim Pool is 30 miles away from me. And anytime he wants to come on or anytime he wants me on, I'll be happy to, we can have a one-on-one conversation and we can do that. And the fact that you went ahead and put on Dom LaCree in your show and you put anti-Semites on your show and you hosted Kanye and Maya Yiannopoulos and Fuentes, Tim Pool, I think, you know what? I've got some shit to say about you. Just a little bit. I think I've got some shit to say. And Benny Johnson, I'm done cowtailing to this douchebag. I'm sick of him. I'm done. So guess what? We're on the 7 o'clock hour. I hope we cut into your viewers, and I'm going to embarrass Benny Johnson a little bit tonight. That's what I'm going to do because he promotes lies on his channel, and I'm sick and tired of it. I'm done. So there it is. If we're going to call out the left for their lies and BS, we better call out our own side. So that's what we're doing tonight. Who wants to go first? Amy wants to go first. Outstanding.
Great.
Amy, set us up with this video. How did you get it? What did you find about it? Why are we watching it? Why is it important?
I think this is extremely important because this gentleman, and look, I used to be an actual MMA fan. Like I used to watch
I thought you were
all
going
the
to say
shows.
fighter.
Yeah,
Oh,
well, I know. I don't think so. You want me fighting anybody, which is why I pulled out my old gear for this show tonight. I haven't watched it in like probably 15 years, though, to be perfectly honest. I don't follow anyone anymore. I don't know anyone. I don't. Someone commented that he's the world champion. I didn't even know that. I just know he's a famous fighter currently. I also know that he's had a lot of controversy in the past, even before he was famous. He puts a lot of tweets out. He has a very harsh language. I mean, he drops the F word. I mean, it's like just part of his vernacular. Like he's dropping it in every sentence he says. So he's just very harsh the way he speaks. But he's also seems like I loved his shirt in this interview. I thought it was hilarious. It reminded me of something that we would have made here on the DUM Show because it said all women or more women in the kitchen or something and more guns in hands. It was just very like tongue in cheek. I thought it was funny. I know it wasn't always well received by most
woman
people,
in every kitchen, a gun in every hand.
Yes, I love it. I thought like
Sean 2024 Strickland is what it says.
It's awesome. I thought that was clever. I thought it was funny. It kind of goes along with our jokes here, and I like the humor. But I looked into him a little bit. Yeah, he's very conservative in his beliefs. He's also very out there. I think he has talked about like some of his own personal problems before. Like he's been through a lot. I don't know many people who haven't, but so it comes across, I think, more crass than it would if he had a little bit more polish in his voice, the way he comes across in the media. But this interview, and I did watch the whole thing. I only sent the clip that everyone's talking about, but the whole interview I thought was pretty awesome. And not knowing again who he really is, I watched the whole interview. But the media is always trying to pull out the controversy. So I get, especially he's in Canada, they're trying to find something to go after him for. So they did start it, in my opinion. And I'm seeing, a lot of people who are conservatives going like, oh my gosh, this is great. I think this is like preach, and finally the left is getting a dose of their own medicine, because we have all these other sports figures who are voicing their opinions and giving their thoughts on politics, which I don't really think it should be a part of it. And I feel the same way about this. And I thought that's what I saw when I first saw this. I was like, that's funny to me personally. I thought the whole thing was funny. I didn't find it offensive in any way, even with the language. I'm not offended by that. But I just thought, I don't care about your politics. I don't think he would have brought it up if it wasn't brought up by the news reporter who.
Roger that.
It was funny. Yeah.
Okay. So Glenn, I also want to do this. I got to apologize to Glenn. Glenn, I wasn't trying to jump your shit, and it's important for me to be self-aware. I wasn't trying to jump your shit. In fact, yesterday I asked you guys to tell me if there were any sound issues, and then here I am. Well, come on, guys. So that's my fault. That's stupid. It's a level of. Here's quickly the way that I do these shows is that I gear up for them, like mentally. It's like a hockey game, or it's like before you're going in a live fire exercise. You got to pump yourself up. So I get amped, and I'm just like I get done with my workout, testosterone's going. I just get done serious lifting weights. I'm drinking some energy drinks, and I'm wired. So there are times where I get snappy, and it's not meant to be disrespectful. And it's always the people I love the most. It's always the people I love the most. And that's one of my biggest flaws, is the people I love the most and care about the most, I tend to be the shortest with. So I apologize to Amy or Olivia or anyone else who I offended. Leroy, I don't give a shit about you.
My name's Leroy. Just want to let you know.
Anyone, and I don't feel anything for you. So everyone else, seriously, it's not designed for that. So Glenn, if I was short with you, I'm sorry. And let's not get all cushy and mushy. That's all you're going to get. Okay. Now that we've done that.
Love.
It's all love. It's all love. Here we go. Let's listen to this. Now, if you don't like foul language, I'm going to tell you right now, this guy drops the F-bombs. Yes, it looks like he has a foot for an ear. No, I have no desire to fight this guy. I saw him get in the ring today when I was watching this video with a internet troll. And I want to go ahead and extend the same favor. I didn't know this is, they won't even come on live with me. But apparently they'll fight an MMA fighter. If any one of my trolls would like to get in the ring, I'll be happy to accommodate you. I don't care. I would love to. Please, for charity, we can get in the ring and we can throw blows. However, if you have MMA training, we're going to have to say no. But you can fight Sean Strickland. I'll give him a call, and he'll be happy to help you. Let's rock and roll. Let's listen to this, and let's get some opinions across the board. Here we go.
Are you Canadian?
Of course I am.
Are you part of the fucking opposition?
You're in Toronto. Welcome. Glad to hear. It's been great.
Are you Canadian?
Of course I am.
Are you?
Now, does everyone? Oh, is that okay? Volume for everybody? Can we hear
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Is
yeah.
it too low? I know you guys are good, but how about the Don't Unfriend Me listeners? Let me know. All right, here we go. We're gonna play it.
The fucking opposition? Are you?
I don't know how to phrase that.
You? I mean, you got to like. Yeah.
Well, I did want to ask you.
Did you vote for Trudeau?
I'm not going to say.
And let me tell you something right now. The man says he's not going to say. Like, if you ask him, motherfucker, did you vote for
totally
Biden?
did.
He's like, well, I'm not going to say. That's none of your business. He voted for fucking Biden.
Sean,
So hey,
Sean, I'm glad you've had great experiences.
so this is what I'm talking about, you guys. The enemy of Canada.
Sure.
All right.
That's what it's got to be. It's got to be. We've got a pretty supportive gay and lesbian community in this city. I did want to ask you about something you wrote a couple of years ago. You said, if I had a gay son, I would think I'd...
Oh, look, another. I'm saying to you, the swamp, you guys, the swamp.
You become a champion, you become a star, and someone says...
Let me ask you something. Are you gay?
Have you had the chance to interact with a more diverse
Are you?
crowd of-
Let me know. Are you gay?
Could I get an answer?
Well, no, I'm asking. This is a part of. Are you a gay man?
I'm an ally of the community.
Okay. If you had a son, then he was like, you had a son, he was gay. You'd be like, oh man, you don't want a grandkid?
No problem with it.
Oh man, well, dude, you're a weak fucking man, dude. You're part of the fucking problem. You elected Justin Trudeau, like, when he sees the bank accounts, like, you're just fucking pathetic, and the fact that you have no fucking backbone, and has he shut down your fucking country and seized bank accounts? You ask me some stupid shit like that, go fuck yourself. Move the fuck on, man.
I feel like that doesn't really answer the question, but I do.
Dude, this guy's my kindred. This guy's my kindred
Wow.
spirit.
Yeah.
This is like when I lose my shit and I no longer have any sense of decorum or intellectualism left. This is who I turn into. This is what happened to me the other night. You kind of say it in a way that's likable, but at the same time you're like, wow, dude. And what are you going to do? You're going to fight the guy? You know what? That's enough.
There's a little bit of that Bill Burr and Philly vibe going on there, right?
Totally. This guy's from South. This guy's from Southie. There's no doubt in my mind he's from Southie. All right, let's listen to the rest.
Also, things you said about the trans community. You said this past October when they announced the Bud Light sponsorship that you'd go so hard on Bud Light in your next fight, they'll have to accept me or denounce me when they know what and will know what they stand for. Are you?
This guy's like, hey, this Canadian's not that Canadian.
Are you still going to use your fight time to kind of speak on that?
Here's the thing about Bud Light. 10 years ago, to be trans was a mental fucking illness. And now all of a sudden, people like you have fucking weaseled your way into the world. You are an infection. You are the definition of weakness. Everything that is wrong with the world is because of fucking you. And the best thing is the world's not buying it. The world's not buying your fucking bullshit you're fucking peddling. The world is not saying, you know what? You're right. Fucking chicks have dicks. The world's not.
Did you guys notice how they bleeped him out like for the first 30 seconds and then it's like, screw it. We're done. If we bleep him out any further, the whole video is going to be beep. So they're like, you know what? But I noticed that I was like, wow, they censored this one. And then, oh no, they didn't. So
like
I
when they try to play.
those.
It's like when they try to play Blazing Saddles on primetime TV and they got to edit
Right.
it, and the movie ends up shortened to about 8 minutes.
Right. It's like Porky. It's like watching Porky's and Porky's Revenge. And you're like, what just happened? The entire shower scene, that was like 15 minutes, was just skipped. What?
Yeah.
All right.
And that world saying, no, there are two genders. I don't want my kids being taught about, who they could fuck in school. I don't want my kids being taught about, their sexual preference. Like, dude, this guy is the fucking enemy. You want to look at the fucking enemy to our world? It's that motherfucker right there, asking these stupid fucking questions. Sorry, I told the UFC I was being nicer. Lance, am I still good with this? Did I cross any lines? A little. What the fuck? I didn't say the F word. You just brought this fucking guy in here to piss me off.
You just did, but just to follow up, I mean, Rick.
Did I say it?
You just did.
No, I didn't say it.
Right there, you did.
Different F word. Different. Yeah, I'm trying to be.
This is like when the sex is so good, yeah, right. And that's what he was trying to say is the F word, not the FF, but smoking a cigarette in London word, essentially. Yeah, that's what he didn't say it. Which good for him. He said the F word, but he didn't say the one word. And in my opinion, this isn't a guy that holds back, right? Let's finish it. We're almost done.
Man, I'm trying to be good. I like the fucking gays. Here's the thing. I've never. You guys think I've ever shit on a gay man or shit on a gay woman? I don't fucking. I like the gays. It's fucking freedom. We still have it in America. We'll teach you about it. You guys don't have fucking freedom of speech. I'm surprised what I'm saying is probably gonna get fucking. I'm probably gonna get the fucking Canadian government to arrest me. So I don't give a fuck who you fuck. Yeah. I don't give a fuck what you want to do in life. But don't fucking tell kids about it. Don't teach that shit in fucking school. Don't fucking push your agenda. Don't try to fucking brainwash people. Don't try to go past parents. Don't try to go up past all this shit and brainwash people, you fucking cuck.
He called him a cuck at the end. All right.
Yeah.
So once again, I only apologize for the language because if I've got to watch my mouth, because everyone's like, Matt, you cuss too much. And I'm like, I'm playing this guy, like all of a sudden we have 40 likes. And I'm like, wait a second. All right. Who wants to go first? Who wants to take it?
Amy,
I can love the guy.
brought it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
then Leroy.
Yeah, I mean, I think I kind of said it all before we watched it, but again, if you watch it from the very beginning of the interview, they pretty much set him up. And the thing they brought up about what he said about trans people, it was a tweet he had put out, I don't know how many years ago. It was from a long time ago. It was
Good.
before he was well known, like a household name, apparently. So they were trying to, again, this is the media, this is in Canada. They're trying to pull something out of him to make a controversy. I mean, that's what they do. They're reporters. They need the controversy. They need to sell newspapers, or they have, I don't know. They need to sell their ads.
They're going to
on the
sell a few
websites.
after that. They're going to sell a few after that.
So, and again, I saw this. I still laughed again, and I'm not bothered by the language personally.
Me neither.
I've cussed before. Yeah,
who cares?
but I laughed so much because to me, he's saying a lot of things that a lot of people are feeling in our country and across the world. And I think in a country that's like Canada, that's very more, I shouldn't say very, they're more left leaning as a collective, their government. I think
They're
I think they have a lot
very
of influence
left.
from
Amy, it's okay to these
They're pretty
people
far
believe in
fucking left.
monarchs.
I
They
don't,
believe in
yes,
kings and queens, for God's sake.
they are way more left than we are here, which is a little terrifying because they're right above us. And they have a lot of influence on America, and especially Biden. I know Trudeau and him are, I think they're best friends, aren't they? Or something. They
Biden and
eat ice
Trudeau
cream
bounce
together.
things off of each other.
Yeah.
It's definitely a daddy and a son type relationship for sure.
Yeah. And it's a little scary. So yes, when you're going to a different country, you know, you have to abide by their laws and their rules. But, you know, again, they were goading him. They were trying to pull these things out of him. They're bringing up years past from a tweet he said. I don't know. I didn't read the tweet, so I don't know, but I know it was in that context. And I don't know. I applaud him for speaking his mind. And I know the UFC, I think it's UFC, right? UFC did. I mean, Dana White was pretty much like, "Wow, freedom of speech. Like we're Americans. We're gonna hold our. We're not. I'm not gonna hold him in any way, shape, or form." Like he said what he said in response to people
The
coming at
question.
him. And
Yeah, don't ask.
yeah, exactly. And again, I still think you should leave the politics out of sports. But again, they asked him. It wasn't like the other athletes that you see that are outwardly speaking their mind without someone saying like, "Hey, how do you feel about this situation?" So I do think it's different in that regard. But I think, you know, obviously things can always be handled better. We can always do better.
Screw that.
I
Here's
loved
the
it.
thing. Like, I'm with you, but my whole take on this is that how am I partially over in one frame? Oh, I know. Hold on. Time out. Hold on. Time out. Hold on. Time out. Better. Okay. So now that, sorry, it's glitches. All right. Here's the thing. The difference between him and Colin Kaepernick is nobody asked Colin Kaepernick's freaking opinion. Nobody asked. Nobody said, "Hey, what's your thoughts on police brutality?" And he's like, "You know what? I'm not going to answer that. I'll answer it after the game. I'll let you know during the national anthem how I feel." No, nobody asked you. So you decided to share your opinion when nobody fucking cared. Whoops, there's one. Swear jar. So nobody cared. Okay? This guy, you asked him. First of all, it's like going in and asking a prostitute to give a sermon in church. You're going to get a few bombs. She might go ahead and explain her job in way too much detail. She might wear a mini skirt that goes all the way up to her throat. You know what you're going to get. Just like if you call into my show, you know what you're going to get. I think the first couple months we had so many callers because people are like, "Sure, I'll take on a podcast guy." And then they're like, "Fuck that." And now people won't call in anymore because they know better, unless it's like a friend of the show, because they know what's going to happen. Wouldn't it be nice if they just would call in just to have a great conversation and not try to be combative? That's the secret. With this guy, you're trying to be combative. You're trying to put him in a situation where he gets canceled or he gets knocked down, but you're not going to cancel a guy like that. There's nothing you can do because, just with respect, he's been hit way too many times to care. And Leroy and I have told you, Mike and I have told you, once you've been shot at, life gets real simple. And this guy he's fought some of the craziest sons of bitches in the world, and he's a world champion, which means he is the best at what he does. don't ask his opinion unless you want to get the real answer. Otherwise, go talk to somebody in golf or go talk to a football player. They'll tell you everything you want to hear. They'll have tape around their freaking legs and ankles that's rainbow, and you'll get the perfect answer from them. But if you're going to ask someone from the UFC, trust me, you're going to get the real answer. Leroy, you want to go?
Yeah.
Go.
He is the reason why the left wants to put bumpers around freedoms of speech. He is that exact reason, because people like him act as inspiration for others to go ahead and speak their mind. Matt and myself and Mike, we all do that, and the girls, and Olivia, and Amy. We all
Are you saying Olivia isn't a girl? Wait. Whoa. Olivia, stand up. Hold on. Olivia, stand up. Did you just say Olivia isn't a girl?
No, I said and the girls.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And Olivia.
And Olivia. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Leroy.
Yeah,
Don't get upset when we interrupt. We're messing around. Okay,
No,
go ahead.
You're fine. So,
No.
Hold on, Leroy. I got to mute.
A lot of times.
Okay, go ahead, buddy. I had to mute the caller. Go ahead.
You're all right. So, what happens is, right? Matt, Mike, Olivia, Amy, that dude just said what we're all thinking. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. When people like him, these are the guys that will immediately get labeled from the left as males who are toxic, right? Toxic masculinity. That was the big buzzword for years. Something to say, oh, look, you're being a chauvinist. No, he's just he's saying what the rest of us are thinking. And there's nothing wrong with that. He is the reason people want to squash freedom of speech. That's all I had.
It's the people. He's the reason that people want to squash, not just verbally people who are in opposition, but physically. I mean, honestly, I hate to say it, but people are like, oh, you're a Neanderthal because you want to fight. You know what? Some of the things that people say, if where I grew up, if you said those things, you would leave with your ass in hand. And I still think we're missing that in this world. Good point, Leroy. All right, caller, where are you from? What do you want to talk about? Caller, where are you from?
Canada.
Go, Mel.
Oh, it's Mel.
Hi, Mel.
Hey, Mel. I was
Hi
just
there.
I wanted to address you because I saw your comment. So I'm glad you called.
Yeah.
What was her comment?
I just want to. I sent to Amy that it's a misnomer. Like, she doesn't need to be afraid of the leftists, whatever, that live above all of you guys. The majority of our country is not leftists. We're not communists. We're not socialists. We have 4 major voting pockets. Unfortunately, we can't do anything about how our voting system works. And that's what gets us into so much trouble and whatever in this country, because we can't compete with 4 major centers in Canada that have the majority of the voting bloc. So the rest of us who sit out here in all the La La Land and all the small districts and community, whatever, we can put in our little votes. But when it comes down to the end of it, our elections are already over by the time they leave Toronto. So Toronto, I think, is kind of on the same time zone as you are. So by the time it gets out to the left coast, all the Western provinces, whatever, our votes really don't matter. We can get a couple of seats here and there or whatever and try to disrupt the situation, but we don't get it. We don't get a big say. Like, we don't have a system like you guys have. So to say that, we're leftists up here and whatever, and you're worried, I said, don't be worried, because 99% of us are right behind everybody down in your end of the world. Like, we don't believe in what is going on in this country. So that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to clear up the whatever. It's like, no, don't be afraid of Canada, because we're not out to get anybody. We're just trying to survive in whatever our stupid election system and electoral process, which is still under the British rule, which they have never changed in 200 years. So that's all I have to say. I will let you guys go. Thank you.
All right, we'll address
it.
it when you're on, Mel. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, bye. So here's the thing. I refute and repudiate everything that she just said. And it's not because I don't love Mel, and it's not that I live in Canada. But I would say the same thing about the United States of America, that we're not all alt-left and alt-right or socially progressive. But unfortunately, those are the people in power. And Canada is just as bad as the United States. Their media, their news media, it's state-run media. Trudeau, his administration, his cabinet, their police force, the government-ran police force. It's just like the United States. I'm sorry, I completely disagree. If we don't recognize that I got you, Leroy, that leftist ideology is now interfering with Western culture and society, you're not paying attention. This entire country is a laughingstock. From our military to our administration to the things we worry about, I guarantee you that foreign adversaries are laughing and they watch like the 200 greatest Joe Biden gaffes, or they see that they care that our ships have rainbow flags flying for them during colors. And they're probably just like, this is the mighty United States. Really, this is what we've got. I'm sorry. When we are more focused on protecting the 1 or 2% of people who believe in unicorns and fairy tales versus science and reality, and we are only accepting certain portions of science and denouncing others that have been uncontested for millennia, you're seeing a society that is completely out of touch of reality. And I'm sorry, it's the same thing in Canada. It's the same thing here. And it's the same thing in Europe. And this is what McCarthy, I'm not a big fan of McCarthyism, but he was right. And I hate to say it, but Russian Red and the socialist communist movement has infiltrated and infected America. And it was a virus we sustained and held off for 75 years. And it is here. And it is apparent, and it is dangerous. I know Leroy raised his hand. Livy, did you have something to say about this video? And then Leroy, and then we'll circle back to Amy. Go ahead, and then we'll move on.
Okay. Yeah, I liked it. I thought what he said was funny, and I like the fact that he doesn't care. He doesn't care that people are going to try and cancel him. He speaks his mind, and that's great. And like Bill Burr and oh gosh, my favorite comedian, Dave Chappelle. I couldn't think of his name. They don't care, and they speak their mind, and they're like,
Bill's kind of Karen lately,
is
though.
he? Okay.
Yeah, he's getting a little Karen-y.
But it's like, fine, cancel me. I don't care. And I look at all these stars and these musicians that just kowtowed. Like Lady Antebellum changed their name because Antebellum was the name of a plantation.
Lady
Ryan Reynolds
A.
and Blake Lively publicly apologized from where they held their wedding because it was a plantation in the South that had slaves, and they had to publicly apologize for that. It blows my mind that these people, and I get it, but it's the fact that it's so controlled that people are afraid that they're going to lose their living, and they're not going to be able to do what they do anymore if they don't kowtow to what the 2% want. So I thought this guy was great. I've never really watched MMA. I know nothing about it, but great, good for him.
Awesome. Leroy, go ahead, and then Amy.
I was just going to say about when Mel called in, your observation of it. What Mel offered up was something called an anecdotal fallacy. And trust me, I love Mel, but we tend to live among people who think like us, right? So you tend to live, if you're in a, right-leaning area, you tend to, the people around you tend to think like you. And that's different than comparing the place where you live versus the people in government. And you have to make that distinction.
She did.
I would actually, I would say that, the Canadian as a people, they're probably very moderate, but it's the government currently that is far left leaning. And that's the distinction that needed to be made.
Right.
It's a good distinction. And she did make that, just FYI, afterwards. But I agree with what you're saying. It is anecdotal, but the problem is that the Canadians, like the Americans, aren't standing up to do anything about it.
Right.
And silence is acceptance. I love when people say silence is violence. I'm like, no, we need a bunch of silence, but not in regards to this. Amy, go ahead.
Yeah, I actually was just piggybacking on that. And when I was speaking, maybe I didn't say it. I thought I did say the government, not Canada, as like every single person in Canada.
It was me. I said
was
it.
saying
She was talking to me because I'm the one that said it.
no, she said,
Not-
but in her first comment, she said, no, Amy. So that's what I'm saying. Like when I was talking about Canadians as a general population, I said it's very left leaning, the government. I thought I said that, but it was obviously the government. I mean,
No, you were no. I want to change. I want to challenge you on your challenge about challenging me about being challenging, because you were saying you were focusing on the government, and I said, wait a second, it's Canada because they still believe in a monarchy. So I'm the one that said it, and I think what happened is you kind of brushed the surface, and then I came in and I gave it a right cross. So I think you're being very careful in what you were saying, and I think that's fine. There are things that I tiptoe around a little bit. I'm not saying you were tiptoeing. See, now I'm being careful. For the love of God, I don't think you were rude at all. I don't think you said it was the people. I think I said that, and Mel assumed that you were saying that too. And I don't think that's what you were saying. I think you were very specific. It was the government. And I said, hell, these people still believe in a monarchy. And I insulted Canada.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the hit on that one, kid.
well, I was just saying that one of my very best friends who's in my wedding back in the day when I was married, is from Canada, and she's very, 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 very conservative.
Oh,
And
yeah.
all of her family are freaking crazy liberals. I shouldn't say that, but
Yeah.
they are very, and I love her family and I adore every single one of them. They're the nicest people you'll ever meet in your life, but they are, they are very, so everyone I know from Canada, I know both walks of life. So I think there's probably, just like here in America, good balance for everybody. But yeah, the government is very left leaning. It is influential on our government and vice versa. And that's just how politics work anyway. Governments influence each other. Leaders.
Let me just challenge that one little bit more, because there's something important there. Is if you take a look at the truckers and you take a look at when they use the Canadian Mounties to stomp the Republicans, 61% of Canada said they wanted Justin Trudeau to punish and jail these people for their opinion. I'm sorry. Canada is most assuredly leftist. They are all about collectivism. I disagree with you 120. I don't. Mel, I know you've lived in a lot of places. I've lived all over the United States, and I think people would tell you that the leftist movement inside the United States isn't as strong as moderate. It is just as strong, because we have changed. It is now about being outraged. It's now about punishing people for their opinions, and we have indoctrinated the citizenry to believe that instead of listening and forcing yourself to remain affluent and patient and almost dependent in the way that you accept another person's opinion, even when they're wrong, has turned into you must despise and hate and strike down that person. It's very Sith-like. It's very absolutes, is that any opinion that disagrees with you needs to be eradicated from Earth. That is the mentality in the United States of America. That is not a moderate position. That is absolutely totalitarianism and leftism personified, and it's the same in Canada. I've seen those polls. Most of my viewers from Canada, who I adore and love, are absolutely 100% conservative moderates, and I love them, and I want them to keep coming back. But there are a shit ton of Canadians who come in here and troll this site. You guys see them. Australia has the same thing, long live the Queen, screw the Queen. I don't give a shit. British rule is toxic, and Western culture is being destroyed by Europeans not having a backbone. And because that's where it starts. It starts in these small freaking countries of 3 million and 15 million. And they want to take these small pocket rules and ideologies of government and try to use that experiment on a country of 332 million fucking people. It doesn't work. That's why socialism doesn't work. It's why free college doesn't work. It's why universal health care doesn't work. It's not working in Canada, and that country is a modicum of the United States size. Can you imagine if we had to do that in the United States, how much effing money that would cost the American taxpayer? I'm sick and tired of European being the barometer and petri dish for America. It should be the other way. The United States sets the tone, and the rest of the countries take and pick and choose what they want, which is meaningful for their society. Leave us the fuck alone. I'm sick of Europe interfering with the United States. We fought a war for this, 1776. Go fuck yourselves. Queen and country, don't give a shit. Sorry.
Yep.
Woo. Anybody else?
Nope.
Feel better?
Whew,
Yeah.
I feel great. I feel
Got a
great.
few
That was
F-bombs and
sick of it. Yes, I got some F-bombs in there. Swear jar. But I'm tired of. Listen, I love Europe. I love Europe, and I think the culture is amazing. But it is riddled with the blood of peasants from tyrants throughout its history. It has never been free. It will never be free. Europe is a medieval cornucopia of feudal shit systems that have failed. I don't want them involved in American politics. Stay out of our lives. We are young, we are influential, and you are corrupting the corruptible. I would rather have these people be stupid and ignorant than ignorant with a cause. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else?
I would be curious to know for the people that live in Canada or Europe, doesn't matter, for the people who are currently going through any sort of college class or some sort of academic field, if when they get to the chapter on Germany, on World War II Germany, or when they get to the chapter on Stalin or Mao, if they read some of those policies and go, oh wait, Trudeau's doing that right now. Like I wonder if any of them are connecting those dots and thinking to themselves, yeah, we are pretty far left, aren't we? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Did you see Trudeau when he was mopping up after Xi Jinping at the it wasn't Davos, it wasn't WEF. It was another one. Oh yeah, dude. Well, Xi Jinping basically they mouthed him and used lip readers, basically saying that Canada embarrassed him, and that they were basically putting him out to pasture. And Trudeau and then Xi Jinping and the dignitaries from China just turned around and just gave him their backs. And Trudeau goes like this, he has his hand in his mouth, and he starts pacing because he knows he's sold out to China. He knows this. That's pitchforks and tar and feather his ass. Okay, so the next video I want to show you ties into this, and this is fantastic. And it was kind of funny. Whenever the hosts give me their show list, I always try to tie the threads together. And this show is going to be fairly seamless when it comes to that, because there's a whole bunch, especially with this next clip, that kind of ties it all together. I've got a video from Joy Reid, and I know Amy hit her last time pretty hard.
Her
and
so much.
oh, she's your favorite person in the world. But she's got a lot of problems. I want to try to find this video, and I thought I had it downloaded, but of course it's right here. All right. So this is, now here's the thing, guys and girls, is I told you that this show is about being kind of balanced. This is the Moms for Liberty group. Okay. The Moms for Liberty have fought in Virginia. They fought all over the United States in regards to pornographic material and books that are inappropriate for kids, and not ban them, because that's not, see, here we go. Liberals changing the meaning of words again. Like the word bigot doesn't mean racist, but all of a sudden they change the word, and bigot is now racist. That's not what it means. It means knowing the difference about one thing and then going ahead and thinking the opposite, and applying norms to groups of people. It's not about racism. That's not bigotry. But this and Libs of TikTok, I'm going to put on blast tonight. Because even though I love Moms of Liberty, and even though I love Libs of TikTok, which I love their stuff, I have got to challenge their viewpoints. But not this video. This, I want you to look at. Do we have a...
I don't think you ever gave me the soundbite, so I don't have it. I was looking for it.
Why do you always blame me?
You make me happy.
Trust me, I was looking for it. I was going to play it.
So Joy Reid, who, okay, I love to argue and debate, but I will never treat. Stop it! I'll never treat another human being like this. Yeah. When people come on my show, they get to finish. When people come on my show, they get to finish their point. And even though I might interrupt and chime in, and it drives Leroy crazy, but it's all for the show to add little tidbits of humor so we can increase ratings. And he's still trying to work that out because this guy's an intelligence specialist. When he talks, people listen, and you don't interrupt an intel. I will break him of that military discipline someday soon. If he was to go up here and say, I need 20 minutes, you're damn skippy. He's going to get his 20 minutes, and I'm not going to say a word. The fact that you're asking somebody a question and you have to say the following, this is my show. I ask the questions. You have immediately lost. So let's go ahead and listen to this video. And I'm telling you, it's going to absolutely, you are going to want to rip your eyeballs out and pull your bottom lip over your head to cease feeling the pain that you're about to have, because this is bad. Here it is.
Thanks for the warning.
Yes, this is bad, dude.
The question I'm asking is, what is the expertise that you have and other Moms for Liberty advocates have to decide that a book, an award-winning book like All Boys Aren't Blue, isn't appropriate for students to read? What is your expertise?
What a tragic story of a man who's angry.
Here's the answer, just FYI. I'm a parent.
Yeah.
That's all I need. I'm a parent. Period. End of story. That's it. Okay? Imagine if people didn't finally fight water fountains in schools and segregation. Brown versus the Board of Education. Imagine if people didn't stand up and fight the school systems and fight the government. Where would we be today? Anyway, let's finish.
Raped by his adult family member. So you have incest, rape, pedophilia. Joy, you said you'd let me answer, so I'm going to answer
Please
for
do.
you. In what context is a strap-on dildo acceptable for public school? That's my question to you. Tell me what the context around the strap-on dildo or the rape of a minor child by a teacher.
Hold on a second.
No,
Wait,
we're talking about public school.
One moment.
All right.
So now you've asked me questions.
Sure.
I'm going to answer it.
Okay.
Well, who is the main character? What's the name of the main character in All Boys?
Who gives a shit?
Right.
That a boy, Leroy. That a boy. That's why we interrupt.
You're asking me right now.
You just gave me very specific information about this book, so you're presenting yourself as somebody expert.
It's the gentleman.
Hold on. Who's the main character in the book?
The main character is the author.
What's his name?
George, I believe, is his first name.
Because you're giving me very specific information that is.
You're asking me to remember the name of an author.
You
the
just
name of the
remembered
author
very
doesn't.
specific.
Joy.
Here's my question.
We're talking about
Here's my question.
You didn't answer my.
Folks, that is called deflection.
Yep.
And it's called a straw man argument. Who gives a flying shit what the character who raped a child is? You are giving credence to a pedophile.
Those are two different things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fictitious or not. Fictitious or not, but it's not fictitious. This is an autobiography, right? This is somebody's account of their life. So you are giving credence to a real life pedophile by saying, honor him by naming him. Give him oxygen. Give him purpose by giving him a real name. You know what his name to me is? Dead if I ever find him. That's his name. Yeah. Homicide. John Doe. Go ahead, Leroy.
If I don't know that motherfucker's middle name, that shouldn't have anything to do with whether or not that dude endorses or doesn't endorse giant pink dildos strapped to an 8-year-old. Doesn't matter. His middle name means nothing to me, but the portrayal of that image in a public school does.
That's it.
That's your answer.
I never thought I'd ever say that, Leroy. We're trying not to cuss on the show anymore, but in this occasion, I think you get a pass. Amy, Leroy, or Amy and Olivia, you're going to have to hold on because you're seething and I can see it. We want to make it worse. Here you go. Enjoy.
I'm going to answer your question.
I would love to hear that.
Absolutely. Well, I'm interviewing you and you're not interviewing me. So let's just make sure.
Conversation's over. You just lost.
Yeah.
I would just be like, you know what? We're good. We're good. I'm sorry. Excuse me. You know what I would have said to her? Do you want me to go get you some collard greens, massa? Would you like me to go ahead and be called Toby or Kuta Kinte? Because those days
New name
are
is Toby.
over. And I would never treat you that way, but you just treated me like I'm some sort of subservient trash. That's the way you just treated me, Joy. Wow, we've come a long way in America, haven't we? Where you would treat me like some sort of slave, like my opinion is underneath you because you're just an elitist, an uppity elitist who wears way too much fucking makeup and doesn't understand that you're not blonde. I hate this woman. It's getting to a point of hate. Like, I would rather have herpes than actually have a conversation with this woman.
Conversation, okay?
Okay, great.
So what I'm saying to you is that as you are not an expert in this book,
I don't
or
have to be an expert to know that
hold on a second.
dildos aren't
One
appropriate
moment,
for public
one moment.
school. I mean, come
This
on, let's
book
get real.
is a full context story, as you said, of the author's experience. Why is it your right or a Moms for Liberty activist's right to say that a parent who wants their child to have access to this book, which gives a personal experience of this author, why doesn't a liberal parent, for instance, or a parent of an LGBTQ kid, why don't they have a right for their child to just have access to
They
Go
can.
to a public library.
It's called Amazon.
Yeah,
I can't
Amazon.
Pause it. I can't pause it. Let the hate flow. Hold on to it. Hold on. Let the hate flow. Let it build. Let it build.
book? Why is it your right to say they can't?
So again, we're talking about incest, rape, and pedophilia.
And
Joy, you
each
said you'd
parent,
answer. Joy, you said
one
you'd let me
moment, no.
answer.
Each parent has to decide what is appropriate for their child to read. So I want you to answer. I'm going to ask you
let's
one more
have a-
time.
I have the ultimate comeback.
I do too. Thanks. Yeah, you go ahead and say yours, and I'll say mine quickly.
Well, if I were to have published a book, Joy, that talks to a personal experience of owning slaves, would that one be okay for you?
Oh, God.
That's pretty good.
God.
That's a pretty.
That's
It's a pretty good question.
Leroy.
It's just
Oh.
yeah. So here's
Just
my other
saying.
one. Joy,
That was perfect.
that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. That's a pretty good comeback. You know what she would say? You're a racist.
Yeah.
You're a racist. I'm like, yeah, and you're a fucking
Talking about
pedophile
personal
apologist.
experience.
You are a pedophile apologist. Congratulations on giving pedophiles a national platform. With your platform that speaks to probably at least 20,000 people, Joy. Congratulations on your large audience of 47th on national primetime. Congratulations that you just went ahead and gave pedophiles a voice. I hope you're happy. By the way, you look like one.
Yeah.
Your right to tell a parent who wants their child, who might feel seen by this story, why
Oh
don't
my
they
gosh.
have the right? Why don't they have the right as a parent to say, my child can have access to this book?
If a child feels seen by this story, that means that they have been the victim of a predator. That means that they have either been raped by a family member, they've experienced
And your proof
rape
of that
in
is
some
what?
way. You just said that
What's
if
your
a child
proof of
feels
that?
seen by this story.
They-
so
they
that
make-
what
no, no,
what
no,
I'm
no, no.
saying, George,
She just said it was the author's autobiography for the Olivia's going to blow up. We can't say anything more because we're taking her material and you want to see a meltdown. Olivia is really close. Trust me, I've been with her for 25 years. I know what's coming.
I'm making assumptions
no,
about it.
George, but if a
Let me
child
give you
has been raped, we should do a lot
You
better than
don't-
put a book
now
on a library
you're literally
shelf.
creating
We
a
need to
story behind a
give-
child that you don't know. Let me show you a form. This is a form that can be obtained in Broward County, Florida.
Okay.
I'm going to show it to the audience, and then I'm going to show it to you. This is called
Can
the
I see it?
opt. Yeah, please. I'm going to hand it to
Thank
you.
you so much.
Is it the 3/5 compromise?
The opt-out form.
Okay.
An opt-out form would
Sorry, Joy, you only have 3/5 of an opinion according to you, so you need to give me my time back.
Right.
allow any parent, because you said you are in favor of parental rights.
I am.
It would allow any parent to opt out of their child being able to take books out of the library without their parents' permission.
Great.
Okay. So that Moms for Liberty, why not advocate that every school in America have an opt-out form so that a parent who doesn't want their child to access a book like All Boys Aren't Blue,
Right.
that they can make that choice, because then each parent,
Now, this is where, real quick, I know, hold on to it. This is where this lady from Moms for Liberty is trying to do the following. She is trying to relate to the instigator in this conversation. She realized she's not going to be able to win, so she has to go ahead and try to cross a line into her area to show, hey, well, that's a really good idea. And she does that. And Joy Reid still doesn't take the bait. That is classic narcissism. You know what? I would never even allow myself to be in an area that was hostile. We could have an interview in Starbucks. We can go to a neutral location, but I am not coming to your slaughter den where the kill switch is on your side and they can cut off my mic because Joy Reid, you cannot allow someone like this to monopolize the conversation. You can't even allow them because this lady has not lost control. She hasn't interrupted. She's being exactly like she should, and she's debating like a normal person would, having a conversation. And Joy Reid wants to crucify her. The lady in brown wants to make a point about these books, and Joy Reid wants to destroy this woman's career. That's not a debate. She has ulterior motives. You pull yourself out of that situation. Let's watch the rest, and then the girls got to go.
Liberal
Ladies,
parent,
got to go.
Black parent, a parent who wants their child to read a book about African American history,
We
then they
want,
get their
we want
rights.
children to read books.
Why
about
not just
African-American
opt
history,
out
so.
for yourself rather than tell other parents what they can and cannot?
First
have
of
their
all,
children
I
read?
think what you're talking about here is a wonderful step in the right direction. We should be having conversations about this. This is about local control. A lot of these decisions are made at the local school board level, and that's where these decisions should be made. And there should be vibrant conversations about what's happening in our public schools and what kids have access to. Joy, however, maybe we could just put all the books with all the graphic sexual content, the dildos, the rape, the incest.
I'm sorry.
Let's do
I'm so sorry.
Let's do
Excuse
a back
me,
room.
excuse me,
Let's put a curtain up in the library
First
like
of all,
they used
hold
to
on.
do.
One moment,
in the video
one moment.
stores. Remember
The
we were
books
little
that Moms
and you
for
would go to the
Liberty,
video store.
the books that Moms for
and they
Liberty,
put those
the books that Moms for
videos
Liberty,
with pornography.
I know that I've seen.
We could just do that in
I
the
have
public
seen
library.
tapes of
Does
what
that
Moms for
sound
Liberty does,
appropriate?
and you all go into school board meetings
Joy,
and you
this
read
is a
graphic stuff.
disingenuous conversation.
No, it's not.
There's America used to understand that there's something called age-appropriate content.
Right, and here's my
We have
question again.
ratings on movies.
Again. Ruby Bridges goes to school.
I got to give it to Olivia first because she hasn't said anything in this show, and I know she has something to say at this point. So the men are going to shut up and let the mama bears take control. Go ahead.
I got to get my popcorn.
Did I hear my ear? Did I hear this correctly? Did she try to actually say she was a racist? Because she was saying that how come you don't want kids to read about Black American history?
That's exactly what she did. Yes.
Okay. Wow. Joy Reid, every time I see anything, she is not there to interview people. She is there to ask you a question, to give you her opinion. She doesn't care what you've got to say.
That's right.
She doesn't care. And if I was that woman, I honestly would have probably walked out. And it would have gotten more airtime because other media people would have come on and said, well, why did you walk out on Joy Reid? And she would have gotten more airtime. No one's going to watch this shit. I don't think anyone watches her anyway. But if Joy Reid is so adamant that this is okay to be in schools, one, does she have any kids? So if not, then you don't have a fucking opinion. So shut up. But two, okay, how about you go to the most graphic chapter and I want you to read it on your show live right now. And then you tell me.
I'd love that.
Is this appropriate for your adult audience? And if it's not appropriate for you to read it right now to your adult audience, then it's not appropriate to be in a child's school. Doesn't matter if it's elementary, middle school, or high school. If it wants to be in college, great. They're 18. They can read what they want. They can do what they want. But when it comes to my children and what belongs in my children's school libraries, this is absolutely unacceptable. And the fact that she tried to point fingers and said, I know what you Moms for Liberty groups do. You march into school board meetings and you try to read this to the school boards. Yeah, of course. They try to do that to show how disgusting this is. And why, if an adult closes down a school board meeting and doesn't let anyone else talk because the pages they are reading is inappropriate for their adult ears, which I'm pretty sure they've all had sex and I'm pretty sure they know what this all means, then why is it appropriate for a child to be able to have access to this book?
Right.
Period. I would love to go on Joy Reid's show. I really would.
She would shut you down, though.
No, she
would
wouldn't.
not allow you to talk.
No, she wouldn't. No,
Nope.
she wouldn't. No, because you know what Olivia would do? Just real quick. This is what, pardon everybody's ears. She would say, I'm going to spend the rest of my life making sure my husband has a bigger platform than you. So I never have to come on your fucking piece of shit show again. Go fuck yourself 3 ways to Sunday. She would tell her to go piss up a rope. And that's the thing is nobody will tell these people because they know that they'll never be booked on air again and they will be silenced. That's why it is so important for you to find your voice, to establish something that you are free. Like, here's the greatest thing. I may not make even a scintilla of what the big podcasters make, but what I do make is clean money. It's not paid for by anybody. It's mine. I choose what advertisers are on my show. I choose who influences me. I take money from my listeners if they are kind enough to give it by buying a shirt or even the donations I've received. And by the way, you people are freaking incredible. Incredible. Over the last 3 days. I'm humbled. Thank you for everything you've done. I mean, I put a link out there just saying, if you can, great. And people have been amazing. Thank you for that. If you allow them to hold you hostage because you don't have a platform, create your own platform. That's it. Amy, go ahead.
Well, Joy Reid. I will say something that you said, Matt, about her being a narcissist. It like a light bulb went off in my head, because I honestly have nothing but disdain for Joy Reid. However, along with that, I've always felt really sorry for her. I feel genuinely bad for her. And I think it's because I know that she has a public voice, and I'm always hoping that one day she will see the light. Like, someone will bring her to Jesus and go like, Lord, save your soul. Let's bring you to the good side and like tell you what the world's really like this. I don't know. But you saying that made me think like, oh, she really reminds me of someone from my past, and I tried my hardest to help them be a better person and do good, and that is still biting me in the ass today. So it kind of really made me flip my feelings about her to just pure hatred. I don't feel sorry for her anymore.
And you're not a hateful person, Ames.
No, I really think there's only a very small amount of people, and I think she really does fall into that. I genuinely don't think she's anything but a waste of space on this earth. I think she's she's stealing air from people who actually need it at this point. Like, it's really to the point where I can't say anything nice to her. And when she brought out that fucking form, excuse my language, but it doesn't change the fact that these books are still in libraries. My 7 and 9-year-old can still go in these libraries and come home and go, Mom, what does this mean? What does that mean? I don't want to have that conversation with my children at the ages they are. It's not appropriate.
Right.
They have no clue what any of that is. And God willing, they won't for a very, very long time, because I do keep my kids pretty darn sheltered, like really sheltered. And I don't care. They're going to learn at some point about the world.
Right.
I really... Oh, that lady, I don't know her name, but God, she's a freaking blessing to just sit there and let Joy Reid talk over her. I would like to see what's his name, Sean Strickland and Joy Reid together in a room after that. Like, I think that would be a great show.
That would be a fight I'd pay to see.
I would too. It's a great point. I love Leroy. I know you're fired up. I know you got something too. Here's what I would say to her when she breaks out the form is 2 things. One is, I don't believe in bigger government. So you can take that form and you can wipe it where the sun doesn't shine. And the second thing is, if you're admitting that the form is needed, then you're admitting that these books shouldn't be in libraries. Thank you for taking my side. Is there anybody else who wants to come out that I can go ahead and have a conversation with?
That's a good point.
Yeah. Here you go, Leroy. Go get him.
No, I wasn't going to say anything. I was just saying that what you just said, that point, that by even having that form in existence, right, is an admission that some of the books that are currently in circulation, right, that are pornographic in nature, or at least, at a minimum, not age appropriate. That's an excellent point.
Yeah. Well, debate is not difficult when you don't lead with emotion. Now, people think that you're losing control when you drop an F-bomb or you get. I have the ability to be passionately upset with you and still be an intellectual and completely calm. I can tell you, people have seen me on the show. I will tell someone to completely go F themselves, and I'm doing just fine. There's nothing wrong with telling somebody exactly how you feel in a non-emotional way. Now, there's times where I've lost control on this show and I just tear people apart. Joy Reid is not somebody who I respect, so she never gets that control. Usually the people who make me the most upset on this show are people who I care about, who all of a sudden say something that's just really stupid and disingenuous, and usually is coming after one of my hosts or myself for no apparent reason. That's when but these people have no power. And you've got to take the Jordan Peterson approach. I want to show you something else that will really, really upset you, that really ties into this. I'm glad we've all had a chance to vent our frustration on that lady. First things first. I'm going to go after Nikki Haley first because everyone knows how I feel about Nikki Haley. I think she's an essential part of the future of Donald Trump's presidency. I think she holds the moderate vote in her hands, and honestly, surprisingly enough, moderate liberals, Democrats for voting for her. She has the numbers, and you may not love her. I don't care, because this isn't a love affair. I don't have to fuck her. Sorry. I don't have to sleep with her. But she brings Donald Trump very, very close to winning and gives him an edge, whether his supporters like it or not. They don't. You saw it last night. Give me a break. 9 months ago, they loved DeSantis. Everybody loved DeSantis. All of you loved DeSantis. DeSantis for vice president. DeSantis 2028. The most winningest team in the world. Then Donald Trump told you to hate him. Guess what? Then he pulls from the race, and now you all love him again. Give me a break. Now you're all like, Vice President DeSantis. You guys are pathetic. Give me a break. You would literally, if I could show you somebody who was going to steal from you, sleep with your daughter, and go ahead and take a piss in the backseat of your car. If Donald Trump told you to love him, you guys would sing his praises. It amazes me how completely oblivious, and I love my listeners, but y'all, a lot of y'all need to stop. But everyone's like, well, what if Haley is vice president? I'm like, those Donald Trump supporters will get in line like that and start making apologies for her. We were too hard on her. She's not that much. If Donald Trump says she's good, we got to trust the plan. Let's trust the plan. Donald Trump's got a plan. He always has a plan. He's playing 4D chess. Guaranteed he's playing 4D chess. We're not seeing all the cards. We're not seeing all the cards. That's what we would hear. Does anyone doubt me? Good. You shouldn't, because it's
all part of the plan.
But let me tell you something. I got a problem with Nikki because she says stupid shit, and she needs to stop. So here it is. Nikki Haley and her effort to go after Donald Trump and take the gloves off, which I'm all for it. Run him through the coals. Take him out. Challenge him. Call him out for vaccines. Call him out for the omnibus bills. Call him out for the tariffs on China that he passed to the everyday citizen in middle America. Call him out on the lockdowns. Call him out. Fine. But she goes, reminder, Trump praised Xi Jinping 12 times after China gave us COVID. No, he didn't.
Yeah.
He was hard on China. He said it came from China. He was the one that called it the China virus, and the media shut him down. He called out Xi Jinping directly, and he said, in not so many words, if we find out that Xi Jinping and China are doing this, we will consider this an act of war, and so will the rest of the world, end quote. So, Nikki Haley, you're full of shit. He wrote love letters to Kim Jong-un. Why are you reciting MSNBC and CNN, Nikki Haley? I wonder. Even after the North Korean regime brutally murdered Otto Warmbier. Well, let me explain something. Donald Trump is the reason why Otto was brought back to the United States. It had nothing to do with the State Department. Donald Trump fought this. He heard this. He was at one of his rallies, and friends of Otto Warmbier introduced him to his parents. He took time after that rally to personally go to their home and listen to their story. You're a liar. He talked about Putin like they had a budding bromance. No, Donald Trump did what he did to all the dictators in the world. He said, you've done nothing to me, and until you do, I'm going to treat you fair, and we're going to start fresh. And if you so much as blink, I'm going to blow you off the fucking map. That's what Donald Trump said. We cannot have a president who is obsessed with dictators. Let me tell you something, Nikki. You may have the Democrat vote, but it doesn't mean you need to use Democrat voting points to get them and talking points, because those aren't the people you want. You don't want the far left in your circle because those people are toxic and they'll turn on you in a New York minute. You may not have the alt-right wingers. That's fine. You're never going to get them. You're not going to get the 7% of Trump supporters who only want Trump and literally want to have his babies. But there is another budding group out here, and it makes up about 80% of the electorate, and that's moderates, conservatives, and liberals. And you don't have those people, and you're not going to get them by talking about CNN and MSNBC. The shit you just said is not true. Every single bit of it's a lie, and all of those things have been regurgitated by the mass media for the last frickin' 7.5 years. So give me a frickin' break. Anybody want to chime in on that?
I'll just add to that really quickly and just say, I had what you were invited to, which you guys are too busy, but we had friends over yesterday to have the kids go sledding and everything. So we were having some conversations. We all pretty much run with the same alignment with our conservative, like our values are pretty much the same across the board for the most part. But it doesn't matter. We were talking about Trump and, DeSantis dropping out and who should be the vice president. And I will say the overwhelming majority of all of our friends all wanted Vivek. I can't say his name. Ramaswamy. Yeah. And I was so shocked to hear this. And I was like, why? What,
I want to ask you about an ad.
Just asking questions like why? And everyone hates Nikki Haley so much, but again, we're pretty conservative. I would say most of our friends are super conservative as well, maybe even more so than we are. And she's not for the right wing, conservative people. I shouldn't say right wing. They're not all right wing, but they're all very conservative people.
Time out. Angel, piss off.
What happened?
Piss off, Angel. You just did exactly what I knew one of you would do. I don't see her true colors. I just pointed out some things. See, this is the problem with you, Angel, and other people, is you guys are so full of shit. You're so full of shit. You're such hypocrites. If I can't call out a candidate when they say something wrong and you think that's me betraying them, then you are one of the people I'm talking about because you think me calling them out is disloyal. I'm not loyal to Nikki Haley. I never said I was going to vote for Nikki Haley. Ever. Not once. I said she would never be the president. Not until 2028 if she makes it on the VP ticket. But if you think Donald Trump still isn't considering her for VP, you have no idea what you're talking about. I have never, ever said that calling out a candidate all of a sudden makes me see her true colors. No, I don't. I think she's doing whatever she can to gain favor against Donald Trump, who has literally been the most vile fucking person to every other candidate that's opposed him than anyone else in political history. Donald Trump is a fucking baby when it comes to other people. And I'm going to show you tonight because he's the one that's bringing her skin color into this. And I'm going to prove it to you. And then you can go ahead and tell me in all your freaking pontification and bullshit how I am seeing her true colors. No, I'm seeing yours, Angel. And I've known you for a long time, and I'm calling you out on your bullshit. Leroy?
5 second point. 5 second point, and I want to get back over to Amy. 3 years. 3 years we've been on this show talking about not falling in line with a person or a party, but by certain values. So don't follow Donald Trump blindly. Don't follow Joe Biden or Nikki Haley blindly. Follow those values for which are important to you in your life. That's how you fucking find a candidate.
I just said the thing that pisses me off the most is when people say something that isn't accurate based upon the listeners or me. Because here's your video. You know what? I'm going to follow it through. And I could sit here and defend her now. I'm not going to. I'm going to follow it through and keep harping on Nikki Haley. And then I'm going to put your Donald Trump to bed because Donald Trump has said something that is complete bullshit and a lie, and I'm going to embarrass him. I'm not going to be like Benny Johnson, who sucks his dick. I'm not going to be like any of these guys because I have no problem calling out DJT when he's wrong because I'm going to vote for the man. He's got my vote, but guess what? He's a big fucking baby when it comes to anyone who supposedly opposes him. Here it is. And if I was Nikki Haley, I'd never drop out. I would milk those big fat donors for everything they got, and I would make Donald Trump's life a living fucking hell until he gave me the vice presidency. Man, I'm fired up. I knew one of you was going to do it. I can't believe you said it, Angel. Can't believe it.
That includes video and testimony from the mother of Otto Warmbier, who was an American student from the University of Virginia who was taken prisoner in North Korea and died, as you know, after the Trump administration did bring him home. Pundits say national security does not matter to voters. Why do you think this story is one you need to tell?
I think this really does show the contrast. So I worked with Cindy and Fred Warmbier. They're amazing people. And I will tell you as a parent, no parent wants to see their child return to them the way they saw Otto returned. This was a happy, smart kid. He went to North Korea. And, I mean, the thugs in North Korea tortured him and returned him back in a state that is unconscionable. And the difference is I told Fred and Cindy, speak up, get loud, make sure I will help you. Let's partner. We're going to call North Korea out. I passed the largest set of sanctions against them in a generation by pushing China and Russia to do it. But what did Trump do? Instead, he talked about love letters going back and forth to Kim Jong-un. Cindy would contact me. She was so upset. And he went and said, oh, but Kim said that he wasn't aware of any torture that happened to Otto. All you had to do was look at Otto when he was returned back to his parents. But this goes back to a pattern. I mean, we saw this over and over again. It's not just that. He congratulated China's President Xi a dozen times after China gave us COVID. He congratulated the Chinese Communist Party on their 70th anniversary. We don't congratulate the Communist Chinese Party. I remember at the United Nations, I had to sit him down and tell him to stop this bromance with Putin. I mean, you can't have someone who's trying to buddy up with dictators that want to kill us. Instead, you have to let them know what we expect of them.
You don't have to go to war with everybody. You don't need to cozy up. There is a middle ground, and she knows better. Listen, I'm not here to sit here and wear her panties, okay? And I'm not here to wear Donald Trump's boxers. I'm here to give you the straight facts. And I'm going to do something that nobody else has done, left or right, is I'm going to disprove the narrative about her skin color. And I'm going to show you something that you have not seen. That's what I do on this show. But how dare you say, oh, now you see her true colors. The fact that you think I'm stupid enough not to understand what's being played here, this is the only thing she can do. She has to get the moderates, the liberals, and the Christian conservatives to not vote for Donald Trump. That's what she's trying to win an election. This is the game. And I don't hold Donald Trump accountable for what he does. I said he's a baby because he is. He handles it like a baby. But you know what? That baby gets a lot of airtime. And that baby has a way of crushing his opponents and getting into their head. She is hitting him like he hits people. Nobody's had the balls to do that except Chris Christie. And Chris Christie didn't have a chance. At least she's up there swinging. But what she's swinging is liberal talking points, and it's bullshit. And it's not true. But you want to know what else is true? This. What? This is my segment tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to keep doing my thing. And then you can get mad at me if you want. I'm not mad at Angel. I'm disappointed in you. There's a big difference. Kind of like a dad kind of thing. I'm not your daddy. Maybe I should be. If I was, you'd be getting a spanking. Whoopsh. Oh my God. All right. Here's the video. Here's the comment. This is the thing that I can't stand. Is that there are people out there saying this. And here's your Benny Johnson segment for tonight.
Cash,
and I'm just telling you right now, if you all are going to continue to link Benny Johnson and the Dumb Nation, I'm still not going to play his posts. I'm not unless there's something factual about what he says, we're just not going to do it, folks. Hey, hello.
You can have them.
We're doing a show. You could ask Mom quietly. Yeah? Not be a third person on the mic, okay? Thanks, pal. All right, here's the video. Take a listen. What was he asking, sweetie?
There's cucumbers in there, and he asked if they were for him.
Oh, he just came in and started yelling. I was really surprised.
Well, he knows I can't. I had my headphones on. So.
Oh, sorry.
So he knows he has to talk loud because I can't.
All right. Well, I stand corrected. All right, here it is.
Hope you don't mind.
Now, this is what Benny does. Okay? So, Benny, if you're going to watch this since you stole my set, I'm sure you're going to see it. Benny, this is what you do. You look meek. You put your finger on your lip. That's usually when you know and you're trying to set something up. It's a tell in most people. And you pretend and you placate the audience like you don't know what Kash Patel is going to say. And today, it's not about a stolen election. It has to do with his skin color. I want you to notice that Mr. Kash Patel decides to go ahead and lead with skin color, even though he condemns Nikki Haley for leading with skin color, even though she didn't. Here's the video. Watch this.
I hope you don't mind me asking. And this is something I wasn't planning on doing.
Yes, it was.
But Nikki Haley said
yes, it
that
was. Do you really think that Kash Patel doesn't know exactly what Benny Johnson's going to ask? Because they scripted it, they got on the phone, and they had a conversation because they're both Trump shills. Even though Benny Johnson got into bed with Vivek and DeSantis, I've got photographs of both of them from his camp if you want to see those, because Benny is an opportunist. And one thing that he will do is hedge his bets based upon how he does not lose his income because he's too much of a coward to go ahead and back up one candidate alone. That's what loyalty is. He doesn't give a shit about loyalty. He went and ran with Vivek. He went and ran with DeSantis. And when they both walked away and were lost, what did he do? He ran to Trump, and now he's bashing Haley to get back in favor. That's what this guy is. He's a shill.
Grew up in the South in the late 1980s. When she was a teenager, she was banned from beauty pageants because of her skin color, and that she was attacked ruthlessly because of her skin color in school. And she's saying that as obviously as an attack against perhaps the Republican electorate in the South, but also in order to play the victim card. I would like to get your take on these comments that have gained wide circulation this weekend.
Well, listen, as a brown man in America, I don't ever lead with that. And
you just did, you pretentious douchebag. Yeah. You just led with as a brown man in America. I don't hate him. But this is the stolen election douchebag that I just crushed all the election deniers. Well, Kash Patel says, I don't give a shit what this guy says. He's a complete douche plow.
Donald Trump, when he put me in his senior post, he led with the best man or woman for the job. So if Nikki Haley's playing the race card and saying she didn't get to go to beauty pageant because she was brown, that tells you how far behind she is and how desperate she is. Anyone that plays the race card, Al Sharpton, Joy Reid, Joy Behar, the entire cast of The View, those are the people you're affiliating with when you play the race card. You know who never played the race card but was accused of it 24/7? Donald Trump. That's the kind of leader.
He's white. He can't play the race card, you dipshit.
Technically, he's orange.
He is orange. That's a good point. All right. So
whether you're brown, blue, black, orange, male, female, whatever, who you go home with at night, he cares about the best guy or woman for the job. And if Nikki Haley's advertising her color already, maybe she's going to continue the white rage, DEI, transgender ideology of the Department of Defense, Mark Milley, Joe Biden, and Secretary Austin.
Look at Betty's face. You know what he's thinking right now? I just made my paycheck for the day. I just got paid by Donald Trump. I just got paid by the Republican National Convention. I just got paid by my listeners. I have a soundbite that I can play over and over. This guy, you know what? Here's how I know Benny Johnson's a piece of shit. And I'm done not saying it. I'm calling him out. He's a piece of shit. And I don't care anymore. Is if you look on the back, he's got Trump's mugshot printed out. There's some of us who will never make money off of it. I'm one of them. I called, you know who else won't do it? The Wright brothers, who probably need just as much as money as I do. I sold over $12,000 worth of Aldine shirts in the Try That in Small Town. Do you know how much money I would have made off those Donald Trump shirts? It would have paid my bills probably for a year. Guess what? Not going to do it. Because even though I challenge Donald Trump, and even though I'll call him out, I'm at least loyal enough not to make money off of his mugshot, okay? I wouldn't put Che Guevara on a shirt or Nelson Mandela either. I don't think it's appropriate. But let me go ahead and finish this up because I've got some information. This was posted on Benny Johnson and Libs of TikTok. I decided to go ahead and run it through Photoshop because it's important to me, because there's a few things that I saw on this picture that made me concerned. One of them is shadows. With a Photoshop paintbrush, you can go ahead and cut somebody's face out and do that. That's easy. There's lines of distinction between the two. But you can notice that on her wrist, on the cuff, it's not only dark and hairy, but it's a lot browner than the inside of the wrist and the palm and the tops of the fingers and the knuckles. And more importantly, if you look underneath the side of her ear on the left-hand side, that's not blush. It's a darker tone. But you can also look up in the widow's peak. Now, one thing a woman will always tell you is in their widow's peak, it's always whiter near the hairline than it is along their face because of a couple of things, makeup and being tan. There is no white line. In fact, it's darker than any other part of her face. Why? Because this picture is fucking altered. They made her whiter. So to Betty Johnson and Libs of TikTok, go fuck yourselves. Because I've got the real pictures of her that you're not seeing on the news or you're not seeing anywhere else. Because here's the little girl to the left. And she looks pretty fucking Indian to me. And if you think that's bad, why don't we go ahead and take a look.
Is it the older one in the blue or the one in the sitting down?
One sitting down to the left. Here she is also at her confirmation, what's known as confirmation. They call it something else. They look pretty fucking Indian to me. And it looks like somebody in America, but during that time in the 1980s, who probably would have been made fun of. Probably somebody who people would have picked on based upon her skin color, not knowing if she's black, not knowing if she's Mexican, not knowing if she's Indian, not knowing if she's Islamic, because all of those are confused nowadays. And Indian people are confused with every other ethnicity but the one they actually are. And if you knew anything about Hindus or Indians, you would actually understand that, or had any friends who were of a different color than you prick. But I've got something even better than that. And this is also something that none of you have, because none of you do any research and none of you care. You said Nikki Haley made a post. I decided to go ahead and search all of Nikki Haley's posts. And I went through tens of thousands of them. And she's one of the only candidates who haven't deleted her posts, not one of them, including this one. But you just basically said she was running on her skin color and she decided to do it. Well, this is from the 3rd of March from 2012. This is a post she made on Twitter. Only 1,000 people liked it because nobody knew her back then. But here it is. Years ago, I was disqualified from a pageant because they didn't know whether to put me in the white category or the black. I was neither. Tonight, I watched my daughter get first place in her school pageant. God has an amazing way of bringing things full circle. Betty Johnson, that's journalism. Libs of TikTok, that's journalism. And I'm a small-time podcaster, and you all can go fuck yourselves. Comments are open for anybody who wants to make one.
Boom.
Yeah.
Amy.
What? Oh, I'll make a comment. Can I comment about Nikki Haley's tweet or whatever that was, her post about her daughter?
Anything you want, except the fact that really, really pisses me off that people are so hell. You have to ask yourself the question, why are they so interested in stopping her? Why are they so interested in shutting her down? Just like DeSantis.
Yeah.
Just like Vivek. Just like anybody who has any opposition. Why are they so interested? Because if you think that if Donald Trump can get one vote from her, that he's not going to use her for that, you're crazy, because that's what they do. They all do it. It's interesting that they're all turning on her. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people are I've never been a huge fan of her, so I'm not turning on her. I actually started liking her more within the last year or so. I don't love her. I don't like her policies a lot of time. I don't like her for a lot of reasons, but I do think she would be good for the country as a VP, knowing the things that she is saying. I think people are turning on her because they are so in love with Trump. It's like Trump is like all Trump or nothing. I was just going to say really quick about his tweet.
Time out, Amy, hold on. Mute your show.
Hello?
You have to mute the show. Turn the show and mute it, please. And then, so if it's on somewhere else, you have to mute it. And then I'm going to let Amy finish her statement. Then we'll bring you on. Go ahead, Amy.
I was just going to comment on her tweet about her daughter. I mean, that's awesome for her daughter, but that tweet bothers me because I feel like she's using her daughter. That gives me a bad feeling.
Really?
I never make something I'm always so proud of my kids' accomplishments. Of course, I always want them to do things that I wanted to do as a kid, but wasn't allowed to, or didn't get to, or, whatever it is. But I don't, and I'm honest with my kids about that. I'm like, oh, I wish she would like this because that's what I did, but they don't. And I'm like, that's okay. like you can have your own path in life. And I don't know. I just felt like, oh,
I
I
don't know if
couldn't
that,
accomplish this. I don't know. I
I
didn't
don't think
like
that's
it.
what she's
Totally wrong.
saying. I don't know about that. See, I'm gonna challenge that, because I think if she said, "Hey, I was in a beauty pageant and I wasn't any good at it and I was too ugly to win, but my daughter's so much prettier and I'm so happy," that's one thing. But to say I never had a chance to do a dream of being in a pageant because I didn't have a category. I was neither white, I was neither black, and I think we've come such a long way that my daughter, 35 years later, is able to win a pageant, and that's not a thing. I don't know if that's but either way, that's not really what matters. What matters is she made the post 11 years ago, Amy. It's not like she said, "I'm going to make this post 11 years from now just in case I run for president."
I totally recognize that 100%. And
fair.
I think maybe it rubs me the wrong way because I don't like her. And I was just going to show you that, yes, if you look at my widow's peak, you can see that it's
it's right.
a
I
lot
notice
gray
these things,
hair there
Lily.
too.
I
but
know
I'm just
things
saying.
about widow's peaks, Lily. Liv, did you have it's a movie. Liv, did you have anything you wanted to chime in on this before we get to our caller?
No, because I was gone half the segment.
Okay.
So.
Leroy, do you have anything before we get to caller?
Nope. Let's go to the
Caller,
caller.
where are you from? Who are we talking to?
I'm from Black Mountain, North Carolina. My name is Pauline.
Pauline, wonderful to hear from you. How's North Carolina?
Hi, Pauline.
It's warming up. It was snowing yesterday, but it's warming now.
Good. Well, I have a feeling you know a little bit about Nikki Haley since you're north of South Carolina, and you're probably calling about that. What did you want to talk about?
Well, I was just concerned, and you never know what to believe anymore, but when I watched the debates, they were talking about how she's funded with BlackRock and deep staters, and Democrats are voting for her to. I don't know. It just didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it's a really good question, Pauline, and I think it's a concern for everybody. I can tell you the following is the best way to describe it is somebody's going to get those dollars. And every one of those candidates want those dollars, including Donald Trump, who in 2016 met with BlackRock, in 2020 met with BlackRock. He met with AC Financial. He met with JP Morgan and Chase. He met with the Koch brothers. He met with everybody who we consider deep state today and asked for their money in 16 and got some donations, especially from Koch brothers' sister. Also a few financial capitals that they put money through that wasn't directly tied to Koch. And in 2020, he got none of those, but still got plenty of other billionaires to give him money. They were predominantly in oil and mercantile, like Home Depot and companies like that. So they're going to take the money. That money was going to DeSantis. And the thing I wanted to try to make a point of is I made a post last night on Twitter, and I really appreciate you asking this question. And the point that I made was the GOP is broke. The Republican Party is absolutely basically a bunch of dollar slot players playing with nickels. Okay, they don't have any money, and they are financially bankrupt. And they put their money to where their donors said, "You need to put it in DeSantis. We're not doing Trump again. We're not putting him in there. He's too volatile for the market. We don't believe he can win. We, blah, 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 blah. It's not good for the country. It's not good for the stability of our dollar. We want him out. We want influence. And this guy has no world influence anymore. We believe that he doesn't," which isn't true, but we're going to go ahead and say that that's what they think. By doing that and not having that influence, they put their money behind DeSantis. When DeSantis was turned against with MAGA, they put their money into Nikki Haley. Now, the reason why they're putting their money into Nikki Haley is because they're not going to put it into Trump. I want you to be really relaxed in the fact that BlackRock and these other companies donate to all candidates. In fact, the money that you're worried about that are coming from fat cats, if you look, are $250,000. That basically buys about 3 TV commercials during prime time. So I don't want you to feel too worried that $250,000 is going to buy Nikki Haley. A lot of people say that her money came from defense companies and all this other stuff. That's not true. Most of her assets came from speaking fees, like most people in government, and it came from book deals. Also with a sale of property that she sold for her parents that turned an extreme amount of money during the COVID years, because we know what happened with property. It's about $8 million. And if you want to go ahead and put her in the last 50 years of all the people who served in Washington, she doesn't even scratch the top 99%. She is in the lower 1% of overall earnings. people make ungodly amounts in public office. So is she bought and paid for? No. Does she have views that I don't agree with? Absolutely. Do I think she needs to be president? No. I don't support her as president. I don't think she has the chops. But I do believe under Donald Trump, she will bring something to his presidency that he is lacking, which is non-suburban Christian women. It will bring him moderates, and it will bring him moderate Democrats. I want you also, one more thing. Donald Trump may not have gotten Democrats, but Ronald Reagan did. So did Bush. So we can sit here, and Kennedy got Republicans, and so did Obama, and so did Bill Clinton. There is nothing wrong with a candidate who brings the country together. And although I don't agree with everything Nikki Haley says, I don't like her foreign policy from a military standpoint. And the good news is she will not be making those decisions. Donald Trump has what it takes to geopolitically keep us out of conflict. But I do also believe that we need to focus on Taiwan and China. And I don't think that makes me a globalist by saying that. I don't believe we should continue to give money to Ukraine. She does. I understand there's differences, but to simply call her when she is less than 3.5 years removed from being assigned by the President of the United States, who had nothing but wonderful things to say about her performance as ambassador, who had nothing but wonderful things to say about her when she exited posthumously from her position and spoke many times at her Trump rallies. I'm not quite sure what's happened in such a short period of time, and it's typical. This is more political than anything. There's my long answer. Does anyone else want to throw Pauline an answer, or Pauline, do you have another question?
Well, I don't know. I was thinking that maybe Robert F. Kennedy's kind of looking good right now to me.
Yeah, if we want to have our guns confiscated and babies murdered, I think that's fair. Why do you like him? What is it that you love about RFK, especially when you're concerned about Democrats voting for Nikki Haley? Why put a Democrat in place?
Well, I guess because I don't trust any. Like you said, the Republicans are failures. We need a different party.
I agree with you. I think we need two different parties. I think we need to absolve parties altogether. And I think we need to continue to vote for people who can represent the constituents and vote not on their conscience or not vote on their opinions, but vote on what their constituents want and absolve parties completely.
Do you trust the government?
Money.
Libra has a question for you. Can you hear him okay?
Do you trust the government?
Pauline, could you hear Leroy? Okay, that's a problem. Okay. Hold on.
No worries.
I think I know how to fix this.
Did he ask, do you trust the government?
Yeah, that was him. Yep.
Okay. No, I do not trust the government.
Okay. Then and I'm not being disrespectful. I want you to think about this. Tell me how you would select your votes. Tell me how you would pick out who your candidates are based on that, based on whether or not you feel like giving control to that person to make policy in your stead, in your name, how that moves, how that pushes the needle for you.
Well, I just saw what Trump did before, and he had a good economy. Mm-hmm. I trust him probably more than any of the others, I guess. But I don't know. I think they're just going to continually attack him, and we just can't live life that way.
Yeah, no, they're not going to stop. My post, real quick, Leroy. I don't know if you saw this last night, but let me read it because
I've got a question when you're done.
Yeah, let me read this real quick because I think this is about as honest as I could be last night on Twitter, and this thing did fairly well. It says, I wonder what people will do when they find out the GOP is as broke as a gambler trying to play dollar slots with a nickel. With the deep state and big donors funding Haley and DeSantis and having zero intention to support Trump in the future, what's the third option? Run a race on small donations? That might work in the primaries, but a general will cost northwards of $1 billion. The third option is simple. Get Trump at all costs. If you're not seeing the writing on the wall, you haven't been paying attention. This goes beyond courtrooms and mean words the moment Super Tuesday drops and he is the nominee heir apparent. Donald Trump,
Yeah.
I'm just going to let you know, and I'm very careful with saying what I'm going to say. I don't even think he gets to the general election.
This is an
Really?
excellent segue into my piece, Matt.
Yes, and I was. Did you understand that was prepared? Because I'm totally going to hands off.
I love
and
you,
hand
man.
it. That's why your picture's up right now. So go
I
ahead
love
and go get him. Yeah, you got it, sexy pants.
Hang on one second.
So,
Can I ask a
wait.
question
Go
for
ahead.
Pauline before she goes?
Yes.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so Pauline, you said you like Donald Trump?
I liked his what he did for our country when he was president.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if he has a possibility, if he's the Republican nominee, why would you not vote for him if Haley's his VP?
Or would you?
How did
Would you?
that?
It's a good
I
question.
don't know. I think he pulls in too much about race, and that bothers me. And that's what the Democrats do.
I have another
Too much
question.
being female or being, Indian.
Okay.
Okay, I have another question though. You don't like what the Democrats do, but you were just talking about RFK Jr. He's from a completely political family. That's all he is, and that's all he's ever known is government and politics. And you said you don't trust the government, but why would you vote for somebody that's all he's done his entire life? He's grown up around it, and he is a Democrat.
Hug your son.
No, I guess if they took Trump out, I would not want. I don't like Nikki Haley. Sorry.
But see, it's okay, Pauline. But here's the one thing I got to give it over to Leroy, and then I got to let it go. But nobody can tell me why. Because first it was money. Then I went ahead and explained to you the money situation. Now it's about her race, something she hasn't done at all. In fact, I just showed you that post. That was from 2013. She was asked a question by a reporter to specifically talk about hardships and talk about the United States and the American way and moving. They asked her a question and she answered it. And it's a story that she's been talking for 11 years. At least it's honest. And it may not be, but so I'm just confused.
Well, she pushes so much about her being a woman, and she seems to have a chip on her shoulder. And I know she's trying to fight for the position, but she just comes across, I don't like her.
That's fair. Listen, I you know what? I think in a man's world, in a position that 46 presidents have coveted and is a narcissistic position to covet and want, you have to be a little self-absorbed. I don't disagree with you. I think Nikki Haley is self-absorbed, and that kind of makes her perfect for the job because so is everyone else who's ever had it. But I'm with you. I don't think she should be president. I 100% think she should not be president. I think under Donald Trump, she can learn a hell of a lot. I think she has great geopolitical common sense when it comes to foreign relations. I don't like her war stance. I don't think we should put our troops on the ground. But everything else, I really don't have much of a problem. I think she has the most sane abortion policy out of any Republican, and it basically shuts the liberals up. It gives the liberals everything they want and takes that off the ticket. And then all it's going to be about is economy and border. And Joe Biden loses both of those arguments. You have to take abortion off the ticket. She's the only candidate who can because she's a woman. I think her being a woman is the key. If you want her to tone it down, I'm sure she'll get that feedback. I am working on getting Nikki Haley on the show because I have been one of the most based people, at least defending her, DeSantis, and Trump equally. I was defending DeSantis before it was cool. I've been defending Trump the whole farkin' time, and I'm at least trying to bring the truth about Nikki Haley is that, yes, she says some stupid shit, but overall, the things that they're projecting on her, she's a little lost right now, and she gets hit with these questions, and she needs somebody else to coach her because she's not answering them very effectively. She's off point, and I'm with you. I understand. It makes me cringe, too. That's why I talked about it tonight, but I don't think this whole race thing has anything to do with her. She even changed her name to Nikki, which is a part of her name. And guess what? My real name is Matthios, not Matthew. My mother's Greek, and she named me Matthios. Well, I changed my name, and I'm not ashamed of my Greek heritage. It's just I think the name's fucking stupid, Pauline. So I like Matt, and I'm sure Rimarada or Nimrod Doraka is not the name she wanted to go by, so she chose Nikki because it's a hell of a lot easier. That's my opinion. Okay.
Well, can I ask you why you think Trump won't be on the ticket?
It's not that he won't be on the ticket. I can't say it. You need to read between the lines. Let me just explain something. Let me help you understand. I'm sorry. And then Leroy, you get the rest of the time. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you're fine.
Pauline, if you had you have kids?
Grown kids.
Okay. I want you to imagine your young children, okay? And somebody came into the house and they were going to hurt your kids. What would you do to stop that person?
Probably shoot him.
Okay. Anything you could. Anything you could to stop them, because that person poses an existential threat to your safety and your children. Okay. Now, if you had a time machine, what would you do? Just a simple question. What's the first thing you would do with your time machine?
I don't know.
I'll tell you what I would do. I'd go back to November 22nd, 1963 at 8 a.m. in the morning. And I would make sure that I was staged right behind the Texas Book Depository so I could kill Lee Harvey Oswald. That's what I would do. Because that's when our country changed. I would also go ahead and find a young Adolf Hitler, and I'd smother him in his crib. Those are the things that I would do. A lot of people would go back and invest in Apple stock. Some people would go ahead and meet their loved one. I would go and take out two of the worst people in history. And more than likely, considering continual timelines and deference of timelines, that they're always consistent no matter what you change, that probably would have been somebody else other than Lee Harvey Oswald. Maybe it would be a person called Mark Lins Booth or some shit. But that's a whole nother debate. But my point is this.
Well,
Hold on, Pauline, let me finish my thought and then I'll give it to you. You can't do a retroactive abortion, unfortunately. You can't go back and take out Lee Harvey Oswald. You can't go back and take out Adolf Hitler. But if it's true that the craziest elements of the left, at the very least, 100% believe that Donald Trump is Adolf Hitler and he is going to kill people and eradicate them based upon their skin color and sexual disposition and throw them into gas chambers and burn them and cleanse them in fire. And that's what they believe. And they believe it incessantly. Would you not do everything you could to stop a man of that stature?
Well, they're idiots.
No. That's not the answer.
Sure.
No, Pauline, that's not the answer. The answer is yes, they would.
Mm-hmm.
That is why I believe he won't be on the ticket in November if he is a Republican nominee, is because they truly believe and they are trying to destroy him as much as they can and throw everything they can. Not that he hasn't done things wrong, but they are going to freaking raise the stakes if he is on that ticket after Super Tuesday as a Republican nominee. They are going to go to the next level. And it's not like the first time that the United States has been involved in removing a world leader. What makes you think they wouldn't remove one of their own? They've already done it.
Well, you said you wanted to take out. Are you finished?
Yes.
Your mouth
No. I'm long, Pauline. I'm sorry. I talk a lot. Go ahead. I'm finished, ma'am.
What about the WEF with Klaus Schwab? I mean, he's another Hitler.
I'm about as much worried about the WEF as I was worried about the WF in 1975, 1986, 1992, 1996, 1998, 2002, 2006, 2012, 2016 under Donald Trump, 2020, 2022, and when everyone said that they were going to take over with COVID and give powers to the World Health Organization. The WEF is a concept. They are feckless, they are powerless, and 286 sovereign countries have told them to go fuck themselves for the last 60 years. It's not going to change anytime soon. Nobody wants socialism. Nobody wants globalism. Nobody wants one world currency, and nobody wants anybody telling their country what to do. It's just not going to happen, my friend. I'm not worried about the WEF.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Good. I'm glad you're glad to hear that. Kiddo, I like you. How long have you been watching the show?
Well, I made friends with you on Facebook, and then I started following you about 2 years ago.
Well, now I know. Now I know who you are, Pauline, and thank you. And it's wonderful that you called in, and I think that's awesome. And I know I recognized your name. I just wanted to make sure, because sometimes I do that. And I'm like, "Hey, are you this person?" They're like, "I have no idea who you're talking about." Thanks for watching.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Talk to you soon. Leroy, it's all you, and then we're going to go ahead and cut. I like that call. I appreciate her asking those
Yeah,
questions.
that was productive.
Leroy,
That was
go for it, buddy.
productive. Well, think about that, the things that we've covered tonight. So first, Vivek Ramaswamy drops out, right? Now we have Ron DeSantis who's dropping out. That leaves Nikki Haley and Donald Trump. Now, how do you win? How do you win this election? Well, the Electoral College is the key, right? There's 538 electoral votes that are up. In order to win, you're going to win 270 of them. During the last election, Joe Biden got 81 million votes. Trump got 74 million, both record-setting for their parties.
Yeah.
Now, last cycle, there were 213,800,000 registered voters. That means that the voter turnout was between 60 to 65%.
Bullshit. Sorry about that, buddy. You and I both know where you're going. Sorry. I'm going to shut up.
So where I'm headed with all of this is that right now, there are something like 48 million registered voters who identify themselves as Democrats. That's roughly 38% of everyone who could vote. There's another 36.5 million registered voters who identify as Republican. That's around 29.42%. How do we get to this point? How does one determine whether or not they're a Democrat or a Republican? Well, largely it's how you identify, right? So Republican, they tend to favor like businesses and national security, and they go after the evangelical vote, or the populist or the pro-life vote. Whereas the Democrats, they have a broader coalition of people. They have the black vote, largely. They have the LGBTQ++. They have the socialists. They largely have the people who are under 30s. They have Greens, right? They got the union people. They have single women, and they have pro-choice. So it's a broader coalition, right? Republicans' poll is much smaller, but it's more solidified, right? Mostly the people that are in the party, because they're businessmen, don't really care about the populist vote or don't really care about the pro-life vote. They don't see them as affecting them, right? But the Democrat, they tend to fight amongst themselves all of the time, because a single woman doesn't necessarily know why she wants to have her taxes go up to support socialist causes, or because of the next, big thing that's in the news. So among the biggest issues, economy, inflation, that's always number one. Always has been, always will be. Healthcare, immigration, guns, crime, and abortion. Look, I want everyone to do this, not now, after you leave the show. Flip to your Facebook feed. Tell me if you find there's a page just solely for Democrats. There is a page that is just there to basically say, hey, look, these are the hot button issues. This is the enemy, and it's always pointed towards a Republican. And this is who we're fighting for. Try and find that for the Republicans. It's not out there. I looked. One of the issues from the last election on exit polling, right? This is going to be decided by the independents. So it's your independents, the people that aren't sure how they're going to vote in the upcoming election. They're not sure. They don't participate in polls ahead of time. They just don't, because they're still trying to figure it out themselves. But what they do, where their opinions do pop up, is on exit polls. And on the last exit poll, most of the independents were like, look, I don't like Biden. I just don't like Trump even more. Biden's policies are actually hurting us economically. But again, I don't like Donald Trump even more. Right. And so independents also tend to be the flip-floppers. They get a lot of buyer's remorse. These are the groups that will, if they vote somebody in on the next cycle, they'll vote them out. Now, that being said, you would have expected that the red wave that we were supposed to have had should have been an onslaught, but it wasn't. This has me worried. those exit polls basically saying, hey, look, we don't like Joe Biden for his economic policy, right? But we still voted for him. That flip-flop didn't happen, right? There was still, a minor red bump, but it wasn't the wave. It wasn't giant crashing crimson tide. And again, that has me worried. So then we started talking about the media. Your purple states, those are going to be the ones that decide this. It's going to be Ohio, right? It's going to be Pennsylvania, Texas, Indiana, West Virginia, Wisconsin, Iowa, Nevada, and Arizona. Those are going to be the ones who decide this. And mark my words, how the media plays this forward, every headline that you're going to see is going to be about January the 6th. It's going to be about abortion, right? Because those are getting traction. Those two issues right now are pulling a lot of traction. What are the Republicans saying right now? We're just not Joe Biden. It's always the economy. It always falls back to economy because they know that's what's important. But that's not enough. And I really am. I'm in fear that this is going to be. I don't want to say stolen because that's not what I'm saying. I will say that they're going to get more traction out of abortion, and they're going to get more traction out of all of their other hot button issues. That's all I had.
Mock me. I'm going to say a few things that I'm going to turn over to Amy and Olivia to bring us. First of all, Texas isn't purple. That's the only thing I disagree with. Everything else, I've called Texas every single time, and everyone says it's purple. It's not fucking purple. It's purple versus Ted Cruz versus Beto O'Rourke because Ted Cruz is a pussy. So that's why. But I watched it, and I told everybody, I said, guys, Beto O'Rourke is 1.8%. Wait till all the rural communities came through. We watched it in 2020 together. I watched it with you in 2022, and I said he's going to win by 6.5 points. Just watch. Everyone's like, there's no fucking way. I'm like, just wait. Houston's in. San Antonio's in. El Paso's in. Corpus Christi's in. Austin's in. Watch this. And literally just blood red just ate up, and Texas isn't purple. And I'm not saying you were. I'm saying that's probably when you researched, you heard that's purple. That's what they want it to be. That's like saying California's purple. No.
I think it's just a growing segment of the independents is why they're calling it that.
It's a growing segment of moderates. I mean, independence isn't necessarily the biggest party in the U.S. It's moderates. Moderates are.
No. It's 30.
No, it's not.
It's it's 35 million people.
As registered. The largest party in the United States is unregistered moderates.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's not it. That's not independence. Independents and moderates are two different things. Yeah, moderates are the unregistered moderates in the United States of America make up about 47% of the United States. They are the largest demographic, the non-voters who are moderate, who don't give a fuck, who don't trust. I just did a show on this, so that's why the numbers are fresh in my head. It's immaterial to what you're talking about. You're talking about registered voters, and that is why it's important because here's the real truth. What you're saying is that the independents swayed towards towards Biden in 2020, and that was also true of the unregistered because the reason why there were 172 million votes in this is because of unsolicited ballots that went to unregistered voters. That's what we need to consider and understand, and those are moderate people, and most of them went with Biden because they didn't like what they were hearing about Trump. This cycle is going to be a little bit different. Let me tell you what worries me. I'm going to just expand on what he said real quick. And here it is. Donald Trump lost the House and the Senate. He lost a mandate from the American people. Let me say it again. As a first-term president, he was given a mandate. They gave him the House. They gave him the Senate. He lost it. So he lost it in 2018. He lost in 2020. He went 17 for 17 of no candidates making it who were all stolen election and American First MAGA candidates. He failed. He failed with Herschel Walker. He failed with Mohammed Oz. He failed with Kari Lake. Everything Donald Trump touched in 2022 went to shit. He opposed Glenn Youngkin, and Youngkin won. He opposed Kemp, and Kemp won. I can sit there and do this all day long. Donald Trump, I'm going to say it right now, and listen to what I'm telling you. Listen to the words coming out of my mouth and think before you react. Matt doesn't like Donald Trump. Listen, Donald Trump has done nothing for the Republican Party since 2016. That is the truth. all donations are going to Donald Trump. They're not going. The RNC is broke, y'all. He broke the RNC. The RNC is bankrupt. They are like the NRA. He broke the NRA too. Every dollar that people have is going to Donald Trump and the candidates he supports. That's the truth. And if you don't believe me, look at your donations over the last 6 years. Who have they went to? Donald Trump and the candidates he supports. That's the truth. So, including mine. So I know, because I'm not only the hair club president, I'm a client. I'm the same guy. What makes me worry also makes me at peace. And here's what it is. In the end of all that bullshit and all that failure that Donald Trump had in the last 6 months of his presidency, and there was a lot. First 3.5 years were amazing. Last 6 months was a shit show. Yep. He only lost by 90,000 votes with 3 states. And that was with COVID emergency powers and 50 million ballots that are not going to be there for moderates this year. He's lost a lot of the black vote. Donald Trump could seal this election up tomorrow with his VP pick. And I know you don't want to hear it. And I know you don't like it, but I've crunched the fucking numbers, and Haley gives him the biggest chance to win. And you're going to have to tell your MAGA voters, hey, man, it was just a campaign. We did a really good job. We psyoped the shit out of her, but she's going to be great. I chose her as ambassador. I know my people. You got to trust me. She's my VP, because guess what? You guys didn't want Mike Pence either, and he sold you on that. So don't give me shit that he can't sell you on a neocon like Nikki Haley, because Mike Pence is the neocon of neocons. And he had no influence on Donald Trump's presidency except literally being a lapdog and doing whatever Donald said. Nikki will follow suit. She gives him the moderates. That number that Leroy is talking about, that huge, amazing, massive number that gets people to register to vote, because the power is not with the liberals this time, unless they somehow get mail-in ballots on the ticket, or we go to war, which I've been saying all along. But
brother, I fucking hope you're right, man. I really do.
I am right. Leroy, when have we been wrong?
I'm wrong all the time.
No,
so
you're not on this show. Well, you've been wrong a couple times, but my point is the numbers are there. You just said it.
Yeah.
You independently researched it, and you just answered the question: who brings in the moderates? She does.
My point to all of that was that I think in the media, those are going to be the hot button issues that you see pushed across every major media outlet. It's going to be abortion. It's going to be what was the other one? The border. Certainly the border, immigration, and abortion. Those are going to be the ones that that's all you're going to see as headlines on. That in January the 6th.
J6. J6 is just a talking point for the 3%. Can I say one more thing? Yeah. Somebody just said that Donald J. Trump is 46.8%. That's a national poll. National polls are always going to be better. State polls are where it's at. I told you Iowa was right on. It was. I'm telling you, New Hampshire is right on. It is. But the one thing that Donald Trump's not considering is moderates. And the moderates who can switch party, the registered independents and the registered Democrats, makes up the largest constituency in New Hampshire, and they're not going to vote for Trump. New Hampshire could go to Haley, and if Haley gets New Hampshire, you may as well punch your ticket for a frickin' vice president, and you better just embrace it, and you better just shut up and get behind that ticket, because that ticket will beat Joe Biden. It will beat Joe Biden, because you know what the Democrats are going to say? They're going to say, we better start playing for 2028. We better start getting up for Newsom. We're not going to beat a Haley ticket because she's got the moderates and the Democrats. She'll get the black vote. She's a minority. They want a woman in office. Let them have it. Geez, why can't we just let a woman be in office? Who gives a shit? Just win. We don't care. Because if you get Nikki Haley on the ticket and she wins, they're going to give you the frickin' at least give you the House. Yeah. They might take away the Senate, which I would expect them to do. They're going to take the Senate away. But you get the House. They're going to give you the House. They'll give you one chamber of Congress and give you the presidency. That's enough to get some serious shit done. You control the purse strings. And if you control the purse strings, you control what's going on in Ukraine. You control what's going on around the world. You control the border dollars. You get it taken care of, and then you fight that in the Senate. You fight it in the Senate. You have the VP vote to break the tie, folks, and the filibuster stays intact. We get 2 Supreme Court justices on the... Think! Your stupid pride is not worth Donald Trump not getting the election because you think Nikki Haley is a skirt you can't see in the vice presidency. Do you really think Kari Lake's going to get the votes? Do you think Vivek Ramaswamy's going to get the votes? Do you think...
Chance in hell.
There's not a chance in hell if you stick Kari Lake on that ticket that they're going to get it. He's going to lose 50 states. He'll lose Texas. You just don't understand how this game is played. Just trust the people who do, and trust me when I say this, that you got to pick somebody who brings in the moderates. And right now, unfortunately, that's Nikki Haley. Unless you want to go ahead and show me polling that says different. DeSantis might not be a bad pick too. But those never Trumpers are going to become Trumpers. They're not going to vote for Biden, or they'll stay home. And that's bad for Biden, and that's bad for Trump. Amy, take us home. I said we were going to let go. You knew this was going to happen with the election. Then Olivia, go for it, Ames.
Yeah, I mean, am I still doing like election predictions? I just don't disagree with anything that you and Leroy have said. I think, despite my personal feelings about Nikki Haley, and I think I said earlier I didn't like her policy. I do not dislike her policy. I don't like the things she's saying a lot of times. It's just we don't have the same values. That's all. I do think she's the best choice at this point in time based on, like you guys already said, the numbers, and she does well with the people who don't like Trump. The people who don't like Trump like what she's saying. They like her ideas. They like what she's presenting. So I think she is a good choice, and she is a woman, which it shouldn't come down to.
But it does.
But it does. Unfortunately, it does. And so you have to kind of like, okay, we got to have something in there. So you got to, throw in the girl. But I think she's qualified too. I don't think she's ill-equipped in any way. I'm not putting her down because she is a woman. I'm not saying that at all. But she fits a lot of the boxes that we need to check as a Republican Party to get into the White House again. I think she would be beneficial in that way. I'm not advocating for, like I said, she's not my favorite person, but
You and I are on the same page, James.
Yeah.
I don't love her.
Yeah.
Because I like Kristi Noem as a person better. I like Carrie Lake as a person better.
Yeah.
I think Carrie Lake. I just don't like Carrie Lake's scruples. That's it. It just, guys.
The fact
you don't pick a,
the fact
you don't
that she
pick a
said
VP.
check that box had me.
Well, it's not that. It's last thing,
Yeah.
and then Olivia's got a comment. Is that you guys? You don't pick a VP because you like them. You pick a VP for what they can do for you. I've already. Dan Quayle was picked because of the youth vote. Biden was an established who had black South, and Obama was an uppity Chicago elite, and none of the black South liked him. You look at Kamala Harris; because she was a black female. You want to go ahead and look at LBJ? He gave Kennedy Texas. You want to go ahead and look at Bush Sr. gave Reagan validity with the intel community and the neocons because they thought he was a liberal. Folks, Vice President still Mike Pence gave him the Christians. The Southern Christians were not going to vote for Trump when he said grab him by the pussy. They were done with his infidelity. They overlooked, and you saw Falwell. You saw the larger. You saw the Catholic Church, for God's sake, condemn Trump.
Yeah.
Then he got Mike Pence, and everyone's like, "Oh, well, Mikey Pence, he's that old boy, Irish boy. We might as well go ahead and put him in there. He's a good lad." And that's why they voted for him, and he got the Christian South back. You don't pick a VP because you like him. You don't pick a VP because he's smooth. You don't pick a VP because she's got big tits. You pick a VP because they're going to deliver a portion of the country, and it makes him prominent in the northeastern part of the country where that is a Democrat stronghold. And if you can start flipping Maine, and you could start possibly flipping upstate New York, and you could possibly get Massachusetts, you're talking about changing the way that they changed the South. Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, used to be Utah. They were ours. They were a lockstep. Now we lost them.
Mm-hmm.
You need the northeastern states. You got to make yourself viable in there. She does that. Stink. Go ahead, Livy. It's all you, honey. God, I'm fired up tonight. Woo, what a show. I love it. I'm ready.
So I wanted to address a comment from YouTube. The comment is Vivek gives Trump the 18 to 24 young vote and someone who actually had his back. That's where I saw it and I was like, wait a second. He's had his back for 5 days. Yep. He was completely against Trump before he just bombed out of Iowa and he dropped out. If you would have watched our show a couple days ago, Matt actually played a clip showing him talking to a voter in Iowa about if you want to save this country and blah, 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 don't vote for Trump, vote for me. He was nothing but nasty to Trump.
In his book.
And everything. So, no, that's not true. He didn't support Trump. Also, the next comment What about Tulsi Gabbard, who will give Trump the women, independent, and liberal voters?
Who said this?
His name is Sir Balanced. Do you really think Tulsi Gabbard is an extremely far left person? She is not an independent. If you look at her actual voting and everything she supports, she is far, far, far left, and you want her nowhere near the Republican Party. She's going to put abortion on the ticket and go for frickin' full-term abortion. The stuff that she is all about, you don't want it anywhere near the Republican Party. She is an absolute no. And no, she will not give Trump the women vote. And she won't give Trump the independent vote.
You think Nikki Haley brings in Democrats? Just wait.
She couldn't even get like 2% of the vote when she ran. She's not going to get anyone. She's completely out of the spotlight. No one nearly even knows who Tulsi Gabbard is right now. She's just not in the spotlight. She's not going to get him anything, and neither is Vivek.
Can I make one other comment? Olivia, spot on. Amy, spot on. Leroy, spot. Best show we've ever done. And I don't say that every time. I really don't. I don't say that anymore. This is the best show we've ever done because it's everyone's involved and they make great points. Listen to me. Listen to me with all the ears. Lend me your ears. You can't name a presidential candidate who has a vice presidential candidate who is pushing 10 to 15% of the country voting for them, who's selected that person for their vice president. Name one.
Right.
Dan Quayle? No. Biden? No. Bush? No. Pence? No. Kamala had 1% of the vote in California. You have a candidate right now who brings you women and moderates who's pushing 15% nationally, who beats Joe Biden nationally in polls, nationally beats Joe Biden. Donald Trump, listen to what I'm telling you with everything in my soul. If Donald Trump was to come to me and say, I'm going to give each of your kids $1 million to set them up, and I need you to give me the best advice you can, I'd tell him to get Nikki Haley, and not because I like her. And I'd say, put a fucking leash on her and don't let her make any policy decisions. And you make sure you send the Department of the Secretary of State with her everywhere she goes. But she brings you women. She brings you Christians. She brings you minorities. She brings you freaking a ton of people, moderates that you don't have. And she's going to give you the election. This was decided by 90,000 votes, Don. You've been bleeding, Don. You've been bleeding votes for fucking 6 years, man. You have lost every. Hold on. You had the most votes of any candidate ever up until Joe Biden. You still lost. This was decided by 90,000 votes in 3 states. Swallow your fucking pride. Your Trump people, the MAGA nation, will get over this in a New York minute because you are Teflon Don. Whatever you say, you could tell them that shit is dehydrated beef and they will put it in a freaking a pot of water and a microwave and take a bite if you tell them that. But all that matters is that you look stable to women and moderates, and that's what they want. They want an assurance.
I gotta say something.
Okay, Leroy needs to say something. Hold on.
Oh,
Good
it was
show.
just a real quick add on to that because you had mentioned this. It was like 2 years ago when there was the lawsuit going on with Trump in the dressing room and the accused rape, that kind of thing. That was when he lost a lot of the woman vote. This is a way to get that back. That was all I wanted to say.
Okay, awesome. Liv?
So one thing I don't think anyone is talking about right now is everyone is talking about age. Joe Biden and Donald Trump are too old. So when you talk about being too old, if something were to happen to one of them when they're in office, who takes over as president? His vice president. Who would you rather have running the country, Nikki Haley or Kamala Harris? I have a feeling that part of this election is going to be based on the VP for that fact.
For the
alone.
first time ever in U.S. history, I have said that. Good girl. Yes, honey. Yeah. Now you're starting to fucking cook with gas. This will be, I said this on my show the other night when you didn't see it, is that 2024 will be the first election in presidential history where the VP matters. And it's based on age because both of them are older than, God was a corporal when they were born.
Yeah.
Anybody else? All right. Listen, hands down. That's the way every show, we went a half hour over and I don't even care. That's the way our shows need to be. They need to be packed. You got to have an opinion. You got to bring your guns loaded, and we got to hit it hard. Benny Johnson, bring it, bitch. Whenever you think you're man enough.
Have you thought of reaching out to him and asking him
No,
on
I'm
the
not going to
show?
reach out to him. I am going to make, I am going after him. I'm going after him. I'm done. Everybody in this business has somebody they don't like. I would love Benny if he would just stop lying. He is so freaking smart. He's so talented. He's such a marketer. But damn it, he's disingenuous. It took me 10 minutes of research to find this tweet. He could have found it. He knows that Nikki's not lying. He knows that she went through this. I showed you the pictures of her as a kid. If she's not Indian, then I'll tell you what. Look at that. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You telling me that kid didn't struggle? You telling me that kid didn't really know where she belonged? You're really going to tell me that? Give me a break. We'll see what Benny does.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody. Leroy, I love you. Amy,
Good night.
thank you. Olivia, you guys, awesome show.
Night, y'all.
We'll see you whenever you guys can
Night.
be on next. Okay?
I'll be Wednesday. So Wednesday.
All right,
I'll
you
be
guys.
Night, y'all.
See you Wednesday. See you there,
Actually,
Leroy.
we're gonna be on tomorrow for the election thing.
Yeah,
Oh.
you guys we'll be on election tomorrow night. We guys will see at 7:00. We'll run it. We'll be watching. I know Donald Trump spoke tonight. I don't have time. Good night.
Night, y'all.
Good night, guys. Love
See
you.
ya.
Love
Bye.
y'all.
Love you too, man.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, Olivia, and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the
Comment of the night.
TV
I
network
remember when
and
Olivia
all major
didn't want
social
anything to
media
do with the
channels
show. Now
and
look
the
at this
DUM
girl
Show.
spitting fire. You go, girl.
Honest, direct.
Good show tonight, everybody. Have a good
unfiltered.
one.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 p.m.
Fuck you,
Eastern.
Benny Johnson.
We can agree. We can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.